Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Liberty Libations number 165. My name is Jake Green. Tonight, I'm joined by the usuals, Alden, Hardee, and Zane, Placie. Tonight, our guest is Dan Taxation Is Theft Bierman.
That's an awesome name, actually.
It's a fantastic name. And yes, he did legally change his name. Dan, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being here.
Man. Yeah, thanks for the invite. Happy to be here. I hear it's an open bar.
It is an open bar. Drinking, that's the first question is, what are you drinking tonight?
So I got this Ron Abuelo, which is from Panama. I just found out. I thought it was Cuban. But yeah, it's 33% more for free.
Perfect.
What variety? I don't know. It's 33% more.
Yeah.
Zane,
so
what are you drinking?
It with some Coke.
Nice. Love it.
I've got a cosmopolitan flavored Spindrift.
Nice. I've never even heard
of it. Like an alcoholic Spindrift or a regular Spindrift?
No.
Okay.
In case it's not clear, it does say
interesting.
Because they do make alcoholic.
Yeah, Spindrift does.
Do they really?
Yeah, I think
I was not aware of this.
Spindrift is great. They're my favorite.
That's why they have to, because they sell both, they have to be very clear on the packaging for the alcohol. Yeah. Like, this contains alcohol. Like,
you definitely would not want to buy the non-alcoholic one if you meant to buy the alcoholic one.
Their mojito, that's the water that's just a flavored like a mojito, is called No-hito, which is clever.
Yeah. It's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Alden, what are you drinking?
I have, you might like this, one bourbon.
Yes.
I have one scotch.
Yes.
Nice.
I have one wine.
I'm
kidding. I also have one beer. I have 4 drinks, so it'll be fun.
Nice.
I'm drinking my usual Ardbeg Wee Beastie.
That's my scotch, yeah.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's hard to beat for the money. I love it.
Yeah. Well, before
we get to finally have it while you have it, so I don't have to just
no kidding
think of you tasting it. Yeah.
No kidding. But before we get into our topics for the night, Dan, we're going to get to you in just a second. We have a little bit of good news that happened this past week, and that is Dan Crenshaw lost his race down in Texas. Eye Patch McCain is no longer going to be representing anybody in any United States government body. And this guy, Steve Toth, who might be just as bad, who knows, but at least he's not Dan Crenshaw. So, yeah.
So I did look into it because, I mean, had Dan Crenshaw lost for being a neocon, that would have been fantastic. Unfortunately, he got primaried for being insufficiently MAGA. So, like, this Steve Toth guy is like a 100% does whatever Trump says.
He's 33% more.
Dan Crenshaw, he certified Trump's loss in 2020. He'd been critical of some other things that Trump had done. It kind of like, obviously not as bad as Liz Cheney, but kind of the same kinds of things that Liz Cheney had been up to. And for the same reasons why she lost, it seems like Dan Crenshaw also lost. But again, it is Dan Crenshaw, aka Eye Patch McCain. So I probably a 100% MAGA person has got to be better than that.
Yeah, you would hope so. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. But Dan, what do you think about Crenshaw losing?
Oh man. Well, you said he's not going to be representing people anymore, and I'm just thinking of that meme. You guys are getting represented.
Yeah, you guys are getting paid.
That's a great meme. Yeah.
I mean, I usually when someone like that gets unelected, it's like, man, but we're gonna miss all the jokes. But I don't think there are really any great jokes that came out of him. So.
I think we pretty much ran through them already.
Eye Patch McCain.
Yeah, I think his high point. I think Crenshaw's high point was dadgum Alex. Who's the crazy YouTuber who goes and confronts
Alex Stein?
Alex Stein. I think it was Alex Stein confronting Crenshaw was like peak
I don't
peak
think I saw that.
awesome Crenshaw in the news kind
He
of
was.
thing.
Did he?
Did you see the clip that was? I just saw it like 5 minutes ago, where he's yelling at Crenshaw, and he's like, "How's it feel to lose?" Did you see that coming?
Did you see it go? What a rude way
Did you
to.
call
make
him a
him
big
cry,
booty Latino?
And I don't know where it's gonna come out.
Did you get blindsided by the loss?
That's so good. Well, Dan, I think the folks would be very interested in your story because it's a unique one. And I'm going to pull up your website real quick. Actually, I'm going to make it where it's a little bigger on the screen so folks can actually see it a little better. Yeah, so walk us through. So first of all, this is Dan's website. Dan believes in freedom. Dan wears a big yellow hat as he's doing. I mean, not a big yellow hat tonight, but he does have the yellow hat on. Dan doesn't pay income tax. So this is something that my wife and I have been looking at. There it is. Look at the hat. This is something that my wife and I have been looking into recently through Freedom Law School, is not paying income tax. And I really want to know what your experiences have been, what your experience has been with this particular subject of not paying income tax.
Yeah. So I probably, this is funny. Let's bring it back to Trump for a second. When I was younger, I was like, man, I want to make a lot of money. So I was going to I was trying to figure out, I ended up with all the get rich quick schemes and pyramid schemes and everything else. And I'm like, how do I make some money? And there was this thing, I grew up in Los Angeles, and there's this thing called the, what was it called? It was somehow related to Trump's college that bankrupted or whatever. And so
Trump University.
Yes, but it wasn't called that. But it was related to all that. So I go there, and it's it's free. They're advertising it's free. Come down, and you go from room to room, and there's all these people just giving these pitches, and so I was in this one room, and this guy's like, yeah, this is how you don't pay taxes. But he was talking about deductions and trusts and all this stuff, right? So this grumpy old guy gets up 5 minutes in, and he's like, it's unconstitutional, and he just kind of walks out with his hunched over with this cane and everything. And I was like, little did I know I would grow up to be that man. That was probably me traveled back in time. But so I kind of zoned out of the rest of that presentation, but I went home and I started Googling this stuff, and it led me down the rabbit hole, and I started learning about all these crazy conspiracy theories and everything else, tax protester organizations. And so a few years after that, I tried to just say, I'm not going to file. And when the IRS basically, a few years later, they came around saying, hey, you owe us money, I kind of went on this back and forth, and I tried to, I was like, I know I don't have to pay it. And I tried to get out of it. Totally flopped. But I learned a lot of really interesting things. They have a currently not collectible status where if you tell them you don't have any money and you don't have a job, even though they have assessed a tax, you don't have to pay it. And after 10 years, it just disappears. So there's some really interesting stuff out there. And you hear these lawyers all the time that are like, yeah, hire us and we'll negotiate all your back tax debt and all this other stuff. They'll charge you $10,000 to do what you can do for free if you just call the IRS and say, yeah, I'm unemployed. So it's pretty wild. But anyway, so a few years later, I was like, okay, this is a scam. You got to pay it, or you got to, do your deductions and all this other stuff. But then I was just so sick of it again. I was ready to do it again. But this time I wasn't Googling. I was asking everybody to ask everybody. I want to find somebody who's actually beat the IRS. And when I changed my search mode into that, I actually found a few people. And I was skeptical, right? I'm like, let's see the proof, right? And this one guy, he was actually helping people file their taxes, and he showed me the proof, and I was like, it still sounds like a scam, but what have I got to lose? Do it. Do my taxes. And so this was for 2017. We filed my taxes. He got me a full refund of all the money that was withheld. So I got a check from the IRS for $25,000 plus interest, which was that blew my mind. And not just the taxes, the Social Security, the Medicare, all this other stuff. And so I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This actually works. And so then I spent more time trying to figure out why this works and what's the difference between that and all these conspiracy theories that are out there. So I'm actually, so I've published a couple books since then. And I've been trying to, I'm working on one that I'm going to publish basically all the research that I have, but it's been like really difficult to separate all that stuff because even today I'm still finding more information because there's so much bad information out there. And you'll see all these people, we were talking about this credit card guy earlier. There's so much like, and I don't know if it's like the IRS is just like, oh yeah, these guys are onto us. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to set out and then, like, we're going to start propagating all this like bullshit conspiracy information so that whenever anyone hears me talk, they're like, yeah, well, Wesley Snipes tried that and he ended up in prison. Right. So
I've gotten that so many times.
Yeah. So it's really wild how, you know, how everything works like that. But anyways, yeah. So since 2017, so I learned from this guy. I did my own for 2018, 2019. And same thing, I got a full refund. I did my 2020 and now it's like my 2020 is pissing me off because now I'm in like this holding pattern where they're basically like, yeah, we need 6 more weeks to respond. And they've been sending me notices like that for the past 18 months. So I think they're like, we don't want to give you your money back. But I've been hearing from a lot of other people that the IRS is just really backed up right now from all kinds of other stuff. But it's really interesting. But yeah, so I haven't paid that tax. And then, you know, the same, I've actually had, it was easier to kind of break the system when it came to traffic tickets. So I haven't had a driver's license in 20 years. I've been driving with unregistered cars in the US. I'm mostly in Mexico now, but yeah. And it's like I've been pulled over. People ask that all the time. Well, you didn't pay any tickets, but have you been pulled over? Yes, I've been pulled over. I've been cited. I've been giving parking tickets and traffic tickets and I beat them all. And it's like borderline into the weird conspiracy theory stuff, you know, like the people who are like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling, but it's not that. It's really just like, it's really just like, you know, their system is made out of smoke and mirrors, but instead of trying to like prove to them, I have a right to do whatever I want, you just tell them, okay, you have the burden of proof. Show me that I'm a criminal. And they don't have the resources to do that. So, and this is the thing that makes it really difficult, right? I don't have, like I give this presentation where I show a friend of mine, we beat a red light camera ticket by sending in a letter using the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Act, which was meant for credit card collectors, right? So we send this to the city of Los Angeles and we're like, we don't have a contract with you and you don't have a judgment, so we're not going to pay this. And they just disappeared. Now, this person still has normally they'll suspend your license or issue a warrant, all this other stuff if you don't appear in court for your ticket, right? Yeah. But this is what we did. And this person still has a valid license in California, like 18 years later. So it works. This ticket just disappeared. But at the same time, they never even responded to the letter to tell us like, oh, you're right. Sorry, you don't have to pay it, right? Because if they did that, I'd have that letter and I'd be posting it all over the internet. Like, here's absolute proof. They don't have, so we don't have proof to show that everything they do is a fraud. Right. But at the same time, it's like, if you understand that everything that they do is a fraud, they can never win. So it's pretty amazing, but it also makes it like really hard to believe. So I get it. I get why people call me a conspiracy theorist.
Do you think they're very careful not to like incriminate themselves by admitting that or something? Yeah.
I mean, think about it. What happens when a cop shoots somebody? Oh, well, we can't comment on an ongoing investigation.
And neither confirm nor deny and all that.
Yeah, and it's like, wait a minute. I thought if you didn't have anything to hide, there was no problem in answering. That's what you told me when you arrested me, that I should just answer all your questions because if I'm innocent, you'll let me go, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's so like they know. They know. They have great lawyers.
I like that.
That would be a hilarious thing to say to them after getting arrested. Sorry, I don't comment on ongoing investigations.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
I like that. Yeah, like if someone's asking who is a taxpayer, who funds the department, and they're like, "Oh, we can't tell you," and you're like, "Well, it feels so effed up." Just like even just from that, but that's what they say. That's what they give us all the time. So.
Yeah, it's absolute nonsense. It's but
Dude, it really is. I've seen on your show that you hosted Paymon from Freedom Law School.
Yeah.
What was your experience talking to him? Like, what was that?
So he's an interesting guy, and I really like what he's doing because he's got like so he's got like an insurance program basically, right? So which is great because when you first hear about this stuff, you're like, I don't know, right? And especially the way he does it. So my system is proactive, which not my system. My system, what I do is mostly based on Pete Hendrickson, which he calls the cracking the code system. That's more or less what I do, which is more proactive because I actually file my taxes, but you have to get your money back. With payment system, he doesn't file, which means if you had something withheld, you're never going to get it back. But at least, you file exempt, so they don't withhold much, but there's still a little bit, which every little bit, like if it was $1, it would piss me off at this point. But but the thing with payment system is he doesn't file, which means the IRS is basically at some point they're going to say, oh, we know you made some money, so they're going to send you letters saying, hey, you owe us money. Right. And he's going to tell you not to respond to that. Now, to a lot of people, that's like really kind of scary. So, but at the same time, Payman's got his basically insurance program, right? So if you're a member of his, then he's, I think it's like up to $1 million a year. You're, if they send you these letters, and then, you do it, you like, once it gets to a certain point, that's when he says, okay, this is when we respond, right? Yeah. And when it gets to that point, even if it's like, okay, you totally lose, and the IRS is like, okay, well, you owe us $50,000 and we're taking it out of your bank account, he's going to reimburse you. So that's really awesome that he has that. And I asked him once, I'm cool. Like, I don't know why he doesn't promote this more. I asked him, how many people have you had to reimburse? And he's like, none.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, why don't you? That should be like the first thing on your website, right?
And he's been doing it for like 25 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing it a long time, and he has yet to lose a case.
That's apparently a really good business model.
He's been around. Yeah, he's been a part of this for like a long time. And I really like what he's trying to do because he's trying to get a lot more people involved.
Yeah, he goes to every
he understands, right? Now. There's like a breaking point. If enough people stop paying taxes, like this is what's mind blowing. The average daily balance of the United States Treasury bank account is something like $1 trillion. So what that means is they collect something like a little bit less than $1 trillion every quarter in withholdings, right? Basically prepayments on taxes.
Yeah.
So what that means is basically they're spending $1 trillion and making $1 trillion, and that's why it stays right at that level. And of course, they're borrowing money to fill in there too. But if everyone stopped, like if everybody filed exempt and stopped withholding today, in 4 months, that average daily balance would drop to 0. Mm-hmm. So then they'd be like, but of course, there's always this loan money coming in. So, they're always filling up with that. But it's like, that's like, it sounds like a lot of money, right? That was $1 trillion in the bank account, but it's like, it's really not.
Like no, it's like they can spend that in like a month.
Yeah. They're living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. Which is with $1 trillion in the bank account, which is pretty fucking crazy if you think about it.
Yeah. If I could only get to that level, that'd be great. Yeah. If I'm living paycheck to paycheck, making $1 trillion every quarter, that's a pretty good life right there.
Just buying continents at will. Yeah.
Yeah. Dan, so you were talking about how, Paymon system is you don't file at all because that's kind of a promise that you'll pay it. Or his idea is that it's kind of a contract.
He calls it a confession.
Yeah,
which is
there we go, confession.
Somewhat true. Yeah, he calls it the confession form.
Yeah, and then with you, so I'm a 1099. Like I don't make any money via a W-2 or anything like that. So I'm technically unemployed at all times, and so I don't ever have any withholdings. So like there's no reason for somebody like me to file to try to get that money back.
Exactly.
Because I would never do that. But for anybody who's an employee, it seems like your method might be a good option as well.
Yeah. That's absolutely right. And like that's what it ultimately comes down to. Everyone's in different situations, so like what strategy works best for you is going to be different.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's it just goes against like every single thing you were taught growing up. Like, don't mess with the IRS.
Yeah.
Like what? It's nothing's certain in life except
Death
what is
and
it? Death and
taxes.
taxes. Yeah.
So there's an interesting story on that actually that's like, it's always attributed to like Ben Franklin or something, but there was a play from like the early 1600s called The Cobbler of Prescott. And this guy this was like before any politician ever said this, the first instance that I've ever found of that. And basically the person who said it was this guy who was trying to gaslight his wife into believing that she didn't have a husband because she caught him cheating with the whore next door. and so she's like, I'm certain you've been cheating on me. And he's like, there's nothing certain but death and taxes.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
So that's when everybody quotes that. So like ultimately I say, yeah, is it really so certain? I mean, everyone like that's what's interesting, right? Even if you got rid of all the taxes, there's still somebody who's going to want to steal your shit. And it's like, okay, maybe that is unavoidable. Somebody wants to steal you and they're willing to kill you for it. Then that's death and taxes. But that's the order of nature, right? That's the animal kingdom.
Yeah, it really is. It's a unique, first of all, it's a unique mindset to go down this path to begin with, but it's also unique to actually follow through with it and continue with it. So, like, how did you, did you always have this kind of perspective on how to live life, or how did this develop?
I think so. I mean, I was always like, my mom's trying to like tell me I got to wake up and go to school. And I'm like, why do I have to? Well, and it's funny because she used to always be like, well, if you don't, the truancy police are going to come and take you away. At some point she was running out of arguments. So she was threatening force. Right. But it's like, I hated school. And I was just like, and I would argue with her, and she'd always just get to the breaking point where she's just like, you should be a lawyer. Yeah, so I think I kind of always had that, but at the same time, like I wasn't really like I remember when I was pretty young, my mom was always involved with like charitable organizations, and she was volunteering and stuff. And I was like, why does like the government has a shit ton of money? Why don't they just like give it to people? Oh, they print money. Why don't they just print money and like they could end homelessness? And I remember asking her those kinds of questions, and she was like, yeah, but that would cause inflation. And I had no idea what that was, but I was like, okay. Because like, so like you could look at me and say, okay, this kid's going to grow up to be a socialist. Right. But at the same time, I had like this big resistance to authority, because at the same time I wanted to start like my little business. I wanted to do like a little t-shirt printing business and all this kind of stuff. And then when I got into high school, I was actually bootlegging DVDs and CDs and stuff. So, I would sell, I had this like printed out list of like 1 million songs I downloaded from the internet, and people were like, I want this one. So I was making mixtapes for people on CDs and burning CDs for like $5, and then I go buy my lunch. Nice. my like greasy ass Pizza Hut pizza.
Yes, the
school lunch. Yeah. So
lunch meal. Yes.
Yeah. So so like I was kind of an entrepreneur, and like I was like, people are always, oh, you have to register your business and you have to get a tax permit, and I'm like, why? Like, who are these people? Like, why do I have to go all the way downtown to this stupid office and like wait in line to these people who are rude to me so that I can get a form to give them money? Like, that doesn't make sense. And I actually got punished. I don't know. It wasn't really a punishment, but like I got caught selling. So I saw like, all the other kids were selling these like, those stupid candy bars they had. There's like some no-name chocolate bars that they were selling for like $5, which was like back in the day was like way overpriced. So I was like, well, screw that. I'm going to go down to basically like, it was this place called Smart and Final. It was like a Costco.
Yeah.
And I got like the big boxes of the king size, like Butterfingers and Snickers, like the good stuff that people actually wanted. And I was selling those for like $2 or $3. and like making like, a couple 100% profit on it. And I got caught selling those because apparently you're not allowed to sell stuff on school unless it's like the shitty chocolates
Unless
that
it's
nobody wants.
sanctioned by them. And
Exactly. And I was like, what sense does this make? I thought this was a capitalist country with a free market, and like, the entrepreneurs are the greatest. Like, what the hell? Yes, I got slapped pretty hard by that. But it was like, they called my parents in to reprimand me, and it's like, my parents didn't care. They were like, what do you mean you can't sell these?
You told him to sell chocolate. He found a better way to make more money selling things people want.
This is like literally what they told me. He has to start an organization that's like an official school organization to like, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm just trying to like buy some memory sticks for my computer at home. Like,
dude, this is the kind of crap that like public education just stifles out of so many people. Is that kind of like entrepreneurship, creativity, that whole spirit is it just, they do try to just completely just remove that from their students. Like I had the same problem. Like I was horrible in school. I got more detentions than anybody I know. It was like, because I was just thought everything they said was arbitrary and stupid, but I like aced every test. Like I don't need to do the homework.
Explain it. Explain it to me. I don't know. It's just what the textbook says. Memorize it.
Dude.
Well, it's funny you bring up homework, because the concept of homework itself actually is like a big government innovation, because the idea behind homework is not only are we going to take your kids out of the home for 7 hours a day because you can't be trusted to educate them. Only we can be trusted to educate them. But then even when we send them home, we're going to give them even more stuff to do, so you have even less time to actually educate them yourself.
Right. And maybe a little bit of propaganda for the parents, right?
One of the things sorry.
I was going to say so I noticed this with one of my dad's friends had his daughter over at I was at my dad's house, and his friend had his daughter there. She was, I don't know, 10, 12, something. And she's doing math homework. And it's basically like multiplication tables, except they called them arrays. And like, I'm a software engineer. So like arrays are like, okay, like I'm thinking like I get it, right? Yeah. My dad, I guess he was a software engineer, but like before they had arrays. so this little girl's there, and she's like, yeah, I'm trying to learn how to multiply using these arrays, which is basically, it's a grid, right? So when they say like, what's 4 times 4, you have a box, it's 4 boxes times 4 boxes, right? So it's 4 by 4. And then you can count every single box and see there's 16. Okay, so that's your multiplication. So you make an array, and it basically like, it's a different way of learning it, where you visualize that this is what actually 4 times 4 means, right? You have 4 and then times 4, right?
It's area,
Yeah, and it's like, but it's a different way of learning, because we were always like, no, you just memorize the table, and then you multiply, and then you add them across and carry the numbers and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And but this is the thing that I noticed. Like, what it did was it created this situation where this little girl came home and asked her mom and like 2 or 3 other people, like, how do I do this? And they didn't know how, because not because they didn't know how to multiply 4 by 4, but because they didn't understand what an array was, because it was just like a new word that they did, and there was no instructions with it. So it created this divide between this little girl who's basically like, man, all the old people in my house are retarded, but the people with the government, like, oh, they know all the answers. So now when she graduates from that into like, the classes that teach her about politics and everything else, she's going to go home and be like, yeah, they told me that, America is the greatest country, and the dollar is the strongest, and the treasury bonds are the best place to save your money, and go America, and all this other stuff. And if your parents say anything different, then it's like, oh, well, yeah, I already know my parents are retarded, but it's all the teachers at school who have all the right answers, and that's who I should be listening to. And it's
I never
like,
thought about that as like an insidious reason why you might switch all of a sudden how you like.
Dude, they switch it like every 8 years or so. They switch it all the time.
This is why my parents could never help my sister with her homework, and why I had to help her with all her homework.
I was in the same boat with mine. Back in the day.
There's this musician. He was like a comic musician from like I don't know, maybe the 60s, called Tom Lehrer. And he wrote a song called New Math. And it was like, it makes sense, like, because historically this was at a point where he's like, okay, we're gonna he's basically singing a song about how to multiply two numbers, but he's like, but now we're gonna do it in base 8. And it made sense because this was a time where computers were starting to become popular and they wanted to like educate people on, you know, how to computers. We need to raise scientists who can operate these computers. They need to understand what base 8 is. Before they had, I mean, now, like, you know, computer engineers don't need to know base 8 because we have calculators, but but it's the same thing, right? This is in the 60s or 70s, and he wrote this song, which is basically making fun of, he called it New Math, which is probably what they called it then. And now we have, what is it? What do they call the new?
Common Core.
Common Core, exactly. So it's like they totally and it's like, if you look at it from a mathematics perspective, you're like, okay, this makes sense. Like, it's understandable. But when you look at what you're doing, when you divide the generations and say, like, okay, we're going to teach it to the kids, we're going to send them home without instructions, and the parents are just going to be lost, then it's like you're creating a rift between them.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
like,
laughing, but it's not funny if there's genuinely like an evil plot going on here.
Yeah, so it's like,
hang on. I gotta hear this song.
Oh, sure.
At least a little bit.
Small children may have perhaps been put in the embarrassing position of being unable to do your child's arithmetic homework because of the current revolution in mathematics teaching known as the new math. So as a public service here tonight, I thought I would offer a brief lesson in the new math tonight. We're going to cover subtraction. This is the first room I've worked for a while. It didn't have a blackboard, so we will have to make do with more primitive visual aids, as they say in the ed biz. Consider the following subtraction problem, which I will put up here. 342 minus 173. Now, remember how we used to do that. 3 from 2 is 9, carry the 1. And if you're under 35 or went to a private school, you say 7 from 3 is 6. But if you're over 35 and went to a public school, you say 8 from 4 is 6. And carry the 1, so you have 169. But in the new approach, as you know, the important thing is to understand what you're doing rather than to get the right answer. Here's how they do it now. You can't take 3 from 2. 2 is less than 3, so you look at the 4 in the tens place. Now that's really 4 tens, so you make it 3 tens, regroup, and you change a 10 to 10 ones, and you add to the 2 and get 12, and you take away 3, that's 9. Is that clear? Now instead of 4 in the tens place, you've got 3 because you added 1, that is to say 10 to the 2, but you can't take 7 from 3, so you look in the hundreds place. From the 3, you then use 1 to make 10 ones, and you know why 4 plus minus 1 plus 10 is 14 minus 1, because addition is commutative, right? And so you got 13 tenths, and you take away 7, and that leaves 5. Well, 6, actually, but the idea is the important thing.
Goodness, that's so good.
yeah, that guy
somebody
was
could do that bit today, just differently.
Yep. It would just look a little
this
bit
guy was
different.
I highly recommend checking out some of his other stuff. He's like I don't know if he was a professor or something at like one of the big universities, but he's brilliant. And like he has another song about he has songs about like war, about Operation Paperclip. Like,
oh yeah, I know Paperclip.
Oh, dang.
It's this song called Werner von Braun, and he's like he says like in German and English I know how to count down, and I'm learning Chinese.
So yeah, he's onto some shit. That is really interesting. I'm literally gonna.
I'm very intrigued by this guy now. It seems right up Alden's alley. That's for sure.
For real.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome and funny.
Zane, I interrupted you earlier. Do you still want to say what you were going to say?
Yeah, so the idea behind like the new math in the 60s and like Common Core is that it teaches math in a way that, as the song pointed out, is trying to like get you to understand at a deep level like why exactly you're doing what you're doing, which if you are eventually going to go on to like some kind of very mathematical or scientific career, that's a helpful way for you to learn it. But for the vast majority of people that aren't, it just needlessly confuses them.
Right.
So and makes people think, well, I'm just too stupid for all of this, and also my parents are too stupid for it also.
That's a really interesting point because so especially like at this point, right, in the 60s, right, we're getting into the Cold War era, and we're like, everyone needs to we need computer scientists so we can program the rockets and all this other stuff.
To not go to the moon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so we can go to the moon. But it's like this is the thing. It's never like I never got this feeling, at least from school. It was never about let's see what you're good at and encourage that. It's like you have to learn all of this shit. And
can you hear my cat? I'm so sorry. I don't know if you can hear it. My cat's going
all
shit
good.
out the door.
All good.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
So either you're going to be a genius or you're going to be flipping burgers, depending on how well you pass the test scores for everything. And
what if we had where we had someone be like, hey, what are you interested in? And then be like, oh, you might like this math, and you go to that instead.
Yeah.
Instead of that, we just
I didn't get that until high school,
era.
and it was like a voluntary test that I took with a psychologist or a therapist or something.
Like the guidance counselor or whatever.
No, they were just trying to.
It wasn't at school. It was outside of school.
Oh, interesting.
And after that, I could narrow down what I was good at and then what I actually liked doing. And turned out I hated all of it in the end and quit college twice and didn't like any of it. So it wasn't that. I mean, I still my top one was architect. And
I always wanted to pretend to be an architect.
Designing houses, but man, the ridiculous part was once I got to architecture school, you don't actually do any designing. It's all just red tape, legal nonsense that you're having to learn. I was like, I'm not going to do this for my whole life.
This is how you bribe a politician.
I thought I wanted to be that, like an architect or someone that designed cars or something. And they're like, no, you know what we need more of is shitty lamps. And it's you have to do 1,000 shitty lamps and then you might get a chance to do a car. And you're like, well, fuck this. I literally, that was one of my first majors at SCAD was industrial design or whatever. And I left design. Because
stupid.
Because it was
before we talk anymore, let's welcome to the show Mr. Stephen Hilton.
Cheers, fellas.
What's up, man?
How you doing, buddy? What are you drinking?
So alcohol free still, because we got this wild notion that we're gonna have a baby at 40.
Okay. Okay.
But so it's hop water.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, hop water.
But this is actually so they teamed up with Stone, so it tastes just like a Stone IPA, just with alcohol.
So
it
somehow,
still tastes exactly like piss.
Somehow they figured out how to make water taste like crap. This is great.
There you go. Yeah.
This is just wonderful. Stephen, you've given me so much hope for humanity.
Speaking of, this is a side comment, but speaking of water tasting like crap, I went down to my grandma's house for a while and was there, and she's on well water. And then I came back, and as soon as I was running the tap at my house, I was like, oh my God, it was like a fucking cheap hotel jacuzzi smell. It was so much chlorine. So I'm having my water tested this weekend.
That's good.
I've talked to some folks with City of Atlanta with the water department, because that was it was on the news around here recently that everybody's water stinks and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, but you have water, right? You turn it on, it has pressure, and it comes out, and they're like, yeah.
Is it wet? Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Well, it's water.
Yeah, filter it. I don't get public service announcement. Wherever you live, filter your water.
Anywhere.
I don't care how clean they tell you it is.
Right.
Unless
even
you
the well
water
water
from a mountain spring,
Interesting. One of our audience members says he did the career tests a bunch in high school. Brewer and trucker were always high on the list. I still regret not becoming a beer truck driver.
I was just going to say, if you merge these,
I tried to get my sister to apply to be a driver for the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
So specific.
That's got to be a contest. You can't just they've got so many applicants. They just have to
be able to do the job.
Well, they open the application for it every so often.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and it's a big thing on social media when they do. Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure they get millions of applications.
Yeah, it doesn't pay much, but like whatever you do after that, you're already social media famous because
right?
you drive a wiener.
You can literally get any job after that. You could be White House correspondent after that.
Right.
Ask me about my.
You'd be
wiener.
way more qualified than that job. So,
Mhm.
All right, y'all.
That's how Anthony Weiner got his start.
Goodness.
Look where he got, you know.
All right, we're going to move on to our next topic of the evening because I think a lot of what we've already talked about. I mean, we've talked a little bit about taxation as theft, but a lot about a lot of the ways in which the government just requires you to do a whole bunch of stuff that they have no God-given right to force you to do. And so that brings us to obviously what's happened in the last week. But here's Thomas Massey on the floor giving a speech. And if you want me to pause it, just let me know.
Mr. Speaker, James
Pause it.
Madison wrote to Thomas Jefferson in 1789, the Constitution supposes what the history of all governments demonstrates, that the executive branch of power is the most interested in war and most prone to it. It has accordingly, with studied care, vested the question of war in the legislature. The Constitution is clear. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11 of our Constitution provides Congress initiatory powers of war. Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of our Constitution gives the president operational powers of war to wage that war. Even if this body were to pretend that the 1973 War Powers Resolution supersedes the clear language of the Constitution, the president still has not met the conditions required by that law itself. The 1973 War Powers Resolution states plainly that the president may only introduce U.S. armed forces into hostilities pursuant to 3 conditions.
Whoa, did it just stop playing for y'all?
Yeah.
Audio, yeah.
What the heck? It's done that a couple times today.
Of war, 2, specific statutory authorization, or 3, a national emergency created by an attack upon the United States. None of those conditions exist today. Iran has not attacked the United States, Congress has not declared war, and Congress has not granted specific statutory authorization. Beyond the constitutional question, here lies an even more important one. Why are we going to war with Iran? We owe our military service members a clear mission. And American families in my district want to know how this is going to help them pay for groceries. How does this make them any safer in their schools or in their neighborhoods? How does this help them pay for housing? Have we learned nothing from the laundry list of wars and regime change experiments we sparked across the Middle East that have racked up a total of at least $8 trillion of debt in Iraq, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan? A sustained war with Iran will not stabilize the region. It's already ignited the region. It will radicalize new generations of terrorists, and it will send more swarms of refugees into Europe and the United States.
All right, we're going to pause it there. We're about halfway through, but we'll stop it there. If you want to go watch that, it's all over if you just type in Thomas Massey on X. Yeah, so if you've been living under a rock, we're now at war with Iran.
Iraq?
Oh, my bad. Iran.
Living under Iran.
That was funny. That was an Arrested Development type situation right there.
Solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock. And this is Thomas Massey on the floor of the House talking about how, as the 5 of us know very well, Congress has to initiate a war. The president cannot do so, and there has not been an actual war that Congress has initiated since World War II.
I was just going to say that after 9/11, this was the same thing. This is like, at least then we had, at the time, everyone believed that it was real or whatever. We don't need to get into that right now. But I've always been afraid of another attack of some kind. Dan, you might not know this about me or whatever, but like I'm the 9/11 guy of this crew or whatever. And yes. I've been afraid of and waiting for another like false flag type attack to pin another war on, to go to war with Iran or something like that. But we've gotten to the point where we don't even.
Yeah, nobody will believe it anyways.
We just fucking go. Like it doesn't.
Well, and only with like 25% approval. Also, it's like they don't even care. It's like, and obviously this whole kind of regime change from the air thing. I mean, the entire idea is just stupid. Like, if you think about it for 2 seconds, you would realize that you cannot do a regime change from the air. But this is the only kind of operation that they could possibly do with only 25% popular support behind it. Because, like, to most people, at least so far, it's like it's not really even happening.
Yeah.
Like as opposed to if we actually sent like tens of thousands of troops, and it would probably require hundreds of thousands. That then it becomes real in a way that's like, okay, you cannot possibly do this without some popular support. But do you want to know how I actually found out that this was happening?
How?
Because so I think it started like really early morning, like overnight Friday night into Saturday morning. And I did not find out about it until Saturday night because I started watching some of the Marvel movies. So I was logging into my parents' Disney Plus account. And I opened the Disney Plus account, and on the front page, it's like ABC special coverage, war with Iran. I'm like, what's this thing on Disney Plus?
Wow.
Is this a children's show?
We interrupt the Lion King to bring you war with Iran. Yeah.
Did any of y'all watch Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
talked about this. That
Okay.
it sort of preluded.
Dude, Top Gun
Iran
Maverick
saying it.
was what the quote unquote 12-day war was. And it was basically just to supposedly demolish their nuclear arsenal. And in the movie, they don't ever name the country they're
Right. They
going
do a
to.
good job of not actually naming it, but then every
Because
other
China wouldn't let them.
Well, you're probably right about that.
That-
But, I mean, as soon as they
They've done that
start
several times,
talking about the country, I'm like, I lean over to Nikki, my wife, and I'm like, they're talking about Iran.
Yeah,
Like, this is
yeah.
ridiculous. Like, just say the dadgum country name. And turns out, this is what we're experiencing now is what happens after we do what they did in Top Gun Maverick. Like, they just didn't continue the movie to show the collateral damage and the aftershock of what actually happens after we go destroy their
Fair enough. Yeah.
their stuff. And it's just it's wild that movie was so accurate in how they actually did the bombing of their nuclear facilities. It was wild how accurate.
Well, they had
whole process.
actual military folks consulting with them during the movie. Because that was Jocko Willink has some things where he'll sit down. Yeah, any kind of military type movie, Jocko Willink will do some kind of like deconstruction of it, where they show him like the major action scenes, and he'll talk about how they put these things together, how it actually works in the field, and all this kind of stuff. And he did the one for the Top Gun Maverick, and he was saying that it was all, very heavily consulted with military stuff for accuracy.
I'm sure it was,
because like some of the actors, when you see them, taking off. And they're in the back seat of the plane, and you see the guy and his eyes go the opposite direction, and he kind of passes out. Like that actually happened.
Mm-hmm. I believe, yeah.
I mean, the wildest part about that movie is I went and saw it in theaters, and there were no trailers before it, no trailers for other movies, just an Air Force commercial.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Tom Cruise talking like a 3-minute monologue of Tom Cruise, like how special this movie is to him.
I remember that.
Yeah, I guess my question to y'all is: do you think so? Many times we've seen that art, especially movies, will kind of reflect what's happening in the country and the culture, what have you,
or predict.
Do you think or project? Yeah.
Pre-program.
Do you think that Top Gun Maverick in this case was kind of a like test run of sorts to see how the American public would accept something like that? Because it did incredible numbers.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's like market research. Like, here's the war we're gonna do. Are you for it or against it?
Well, I would rephrase it to, instead of like testing, I would say it's almost telling. Like, this is going to happen. It's getting people acclimated to an idea more in the sense of like through code and symbolism and things like that. But go ahead, Steven.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make this sound like World of Warcraft for a second here, but if there's anybody with the mana pool to do an area of effect lesser magic spell on the whole country. It's Tom Cruise.
Yeah. The Scientologist.
I've
if they're
never
gonna
wanted
roll out-
to remove you from a stream so badly. And it seems like he just removed himself.
I was going to say.
True, though. I mean, look,
yeah.
Tom Cruise could be in the Epstein files, and he would not lose any credibility as like the guy that everybody looks up to as like, oh my God, he's such an amazing person. Like, think about that.
Tom Cruise himself is only like 17, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He's a fan.
Dude,
He's
I
been drinking
actually
the
never
baby
thought-
blood to stay young.
I never thought about
He's
the
in
fact
the
that he's
Epstein
not.
files just under a different name.
Is he really in the Epstein files?
No, I'm.
I mean, if he is, like, I'm actually shocked that he's not. That's kind of wild.
We've
I
had
mean-
long enough between the actual events and now for, I think, certain names to be scrubbed out before it was released or whatever.
That's fair.
I honestly
Did you
don't
actually
think
kick
we're
him
getting
out?
the full version. But
No, I think
No,
his
he's
computer shut down. I saw
rejoined,
his light disappeared, and so he'll come back in.
he'll be back.
I'll let him in, but with a penalty. He'll start off
penalty.
trivia with -1. I found that to be extremely interesting. But Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. This is what I want to go back to this Massey video because I thought this was really interesting because he brings up the same point, and this is the same thing I say about taxes, right? Because every single one of you at home, not me because I'm not paying taxes, but every single one of you at home is paying taxes, are funding this war, which you only care about that if you're against the war. But
right,
like I bring up this analogy all the time because it's very important, and we do it every single day, and the government is doing it to themselves. When you give your kids a credit card and you say this is only for emergencies, like they're gonna like, oh, it was an emergency. I was on a date and I had to buy the flowers and they were like $500.
I didn't have any condoms, Dad. Like, what did you think I was gonna do?
Next thing you know, it's maxed out. Who are you supposed to be mad at? Your kid for using the credit card, or your stupid ass for giving it to him and then paying it off and then saying don't let it happen again, and then it happens again, and then you pay it off and then you tell him don't happen again. And sorry, I'm not talking right because that drink's pretty strong. All right, so.
Oh no, you're in good company, man. Yeah,
yeah, you're in good company.
About an hour in is when it gets good here. Yeah.
but this is what's interesting is Massey's like, yeah, Congress has to give you the authority to declare war. You've declared war. I'm not Massey because he voted against it, but everybody else has declared war already because they've given the president the credit card. They've said, here's $1 trillion, go build military bases around the world every single fucking year. And they keep approving it. So he already has that. So then it's like, oh, we used our bombs. Oh, it was an emergency. And they're like, well, we told you not to do that. Don't let it happen again. And it's like,
well, it's like
oh, my bad. Well, now bombs are flying every direction. We have to keep it going. And it's like, it's the same stupid thing. And it's the same thing with your taxes, right? Like you give all your money to the government and then you're pissed off because they're wasting it and they're spending it on like these stupid child daycare things that don't even exist, and they're like laundering money to all these like military industrial companies and everything. And it's like, you gave them your money, how can you be pissed off at how they spent it? And then when you found out that they abused your trust, you gave them more money.
I wouldn't call it giving.
Give them more power every year.
I would definitely not call it giving because I think most like aside from people that have talked to you, people think, and I think in most cases they're justified in this belief
they're taking
that it's being taken from them. And even if like they were to consider like a system for paying less in taxes, it's like it's a very scary thing to feel like the IRS is going to be after you. So I personally would find it to be a very concerning thing to possibly take that risk as well. But I definitely don't feel like I'm just handing over my money willingly. I'm doing it because it's the best thing that I can do given the alternatives.
We're at least in the same camp because there are other people who are like, look, I have no problem paying taxes. I just wish they wouldn't blah, 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 blah. Right. And it's like, okay, but they're doing blah, 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 blah because you keep paying your taxes every year.
I understand the person that,
but I get the fear aspect. That's like the other side of it, right? Like, yeah, if I don't pay it, they're gonna knock on my door and break my legs.
Yeah.
But Dan, that's the price we pay for a civilized society.
I think we're being overcharged. I think they put in a mandatory 25% tip on that thing, and I don't want to, I don't want to split hairs here, but
speaking of Congress as well, like they're the ones that have completely and willingly abdicated their responsibility to declare war to the president because they haven't felt like actually taking any accountability. Like as Massey said, like the 1973 War Powers Act, it's like it's written in a way that you had to know that whoever was president at the time could just say whatever the heck that he wanted. Well, it's an emergency, and it's
only
an
for
emergency
emergencies.
It's an emergency because I say that it is, and if you want to say it's not an emergency, too bad, because then you've got to go through the courts, which would obviously never work.
How long does that
by the
take?
time you'd even try that, well, we're already in it now, so it's too late. And every time there is one of these undeclared wars, and there is a resolution to get the president to stop, those are always voted down. But voting down a resolution to make the president stop engaging in war is a lot different. It comes off a lot different to the public than you actively voting for a war. If you had to sit there and actively cast your vote for a war, then it would be widely reported that happened, and all your constituents could be like, "What the heck are you doing? We don't want this war."
No,
but then if the president just starts doing something random, and then there's a war powers resolution, and then you vote against the war powers resolution to make him stop, which is functionally equivalent to voting to declare war, but because of the extra layers of convolution, people don't even hear about it and wouldn't even understand what was going on if they did hear about it. So it's just a way for Congress to get all the wars that they all want without having to take any personal responsibility for
they're
having
cowards.
supported them.
They're cowards.
It's like a
That's
high
really what it is.
pressure sales tactic. The psychology behind it and why it's illegal is because the psychology of it works, that once you get past a certain threshold of it, it's harder to back out of something than it is to not start a thing or to,
Yeah.
So there's a reason why.
Well, it was the element of the Milgram experiment, right?
That was a big part of this. Yeah.
The agentic shift, I think, is the concept, is what they call it. Because after a while,
once you
have this inherent authority that they can't psychologically, that it doesn't even occur to them to hey, I need to go against this guy.
Was it?
It sounds like don't touch the war switch, right? Oh, we don't want to go to war, but then once the switch is flipped, oh, we're at war.
Then we don't want to turn it off either.
It's don't touch it. Things are going to get worse. That's really
Lindsey Graham is just giggling in the corner and rocking back and forth. We like him when he's happy.
Find a way to switch it on with. This is why I hate the emergency thing. If you find a way to be oh, well, it's an emergency, so we just switched it on, it's so much harder to turn it off. And that's why I said I've been afraid of another emergency. I feel like COVID counted as something that was claimed an emergency and whatever.
Absolutely
different than war, but it was still when things are done that are against norms and against your, I would argue your rights and things. It was a whole other thing.
Well, look at what hasn't come back from COVID, right? 24-hour grocery stores.
A lot of small businesses and mushrooms that I can pick individually. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 20-pound bags of ice.
Yeah.
Can't buy those anymore. Those are gone.
There's so many goddamn things.
All right. Steven sent me a link in the private chat back here. So we're going to pull that up real quick. He says, this is why we're really at war. The purchasing power of the dollar over time. This is something we've talked about at length on this show, and I made a whole documentary basically talking about this. How the dollar, what you could buy with $100 back in 1913, you can now buy with 97, or now costs 97 cents. You've lost 99.3% of your purchasing power.
Also, Iran is one of the last nations to not have the same type of centralized banking system.
Rothschild.
Yes.
Rothschild.
I was trying to avoid but yes.
Say it, because we're going to get to Rothschild later.
Hey, I'm Jewish. You're allowed to say it. You're allowed to say it. I give you a J card.
Steve,
I'm trying to not get this episode like banned or whatever because I want people to hear what Dan has to say.
You shouldn't have had me on.
It's so I feel like it's so important to hear what you're saying, so I'm trying to tread like extra careful.
I just want to say, like, but scroll back up to this chart, and I just want to say this is actually very, very misleading because you look at this chart and it's almost like, well, it's almost all the way gone, and there's nowhere it could go from here. Because, like, so let's say it's, I think you said it lost 99.3%.
99.3. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, what's the difference between 99.3 to 99.9? It sounds like, oh, it's only 0.6%. That's nothing, right? But the reality is when you reset the baseline to 99.3 and take it down to 90, like you're losing another 90%. So a lot of times you'll see, like when you have like really long time ranges, you'll see they call it an exponential graph where instead of you'll collapse like 10 to 100. So from 0 to 10 will be the same as 10 to 100.
Like a logarithmic scale.
Exactly. Yeah. So it shows like realistically what this means over time, because like it's like looking at the chart, it's like, okay, well, the value's already gone. Where
it's
could it
why
go
people
from here?
don't get why a 9.0 earthquake and a 9.1 are way fucking different. And it's the same kind of a thing, is that it's like, no, it's 10 times fucking harder.
Well,
like
what Dan's saying is that you need to reset it to that point now. So
and
like even though the dollar over the 115 years or whatever it's been has lost 99.3% of its purchasing power, there's still purchasing power left, and whatever it drops now, it can still drop 50%, 90% further.
Right.
It
So
doesn't just have
the
9
dollars
to
you
go
own.
or whatever.
It means the dollars you own now. If you own $100 now, in 100 more years, those $100 are going to be worth $1.
What we should do is extrapolate it and draw and just reprint the graph down here and just be like, that's the trend we're on. This isn't zero. We're at the bottom of the graph. It's like it's a forever ski slope to hell. Like it's not good.
Yeah,
But
right. Well, and that's
Steven.
when you put it in the global scale as well, because that's and Dan, I'm glad you brought that up too, because that's Peter Schiff has been talking about this. To kind of put it in perspective, because that was one of the things that was it Pam Bondi was talking about that, during the depositions of, but the Dow was at 50,000. Yeah. And he's like, okay, so that, that sounds great because it's at an all-time high, but if you put it in terms of how much an ounce of gold costs, that's not really that much to squawk about. It was actually higher in the 80s relative to the price of gold.
Have you guys ever got high and went to a fractal graph website or whatever and just kept zooming in for forever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what you could keep zooming in on this and then expand it and it could fall, and zoom in and expand it and it could fall. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's the same.
Right. Like
the
ShamWow guy, like, oh, hell can't get deeper, but wait.
There's the
I've seen
seventh
these
circle.
acid trip videos on like Instagram or something where it's like it's a cartoon of like a setting and it starts zooming. It's like a fractal. It zooms into it and it's like in the guy's fingernail,
And
this
then
whole new scene emerges, and then it keeps going, and then like something else, like a petal on a flower in the corner, and it's like all those things I trip, and like when I'm sober, I trip out on those.
But so one of my theories is if the whole world is in a state of collapse, which essentially it is, unfunded liability, like, you look at like the per capita debt ratio, you think we're in trouble. I mean, just look at what like Greece and Spain and Malta went through just 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're beyond the per capita GDP of debt holdings that they were, but that, they've already hit it, crashed, and they're already back up there. And like the EU as a whole, they're already, in a deeper hole than we are.
Greece was just like, oh, you have 200 grand. It's like, nah, you got 90 grand, right? That's what.
Because like
is bad.
I mean, our national debt's like 38 trillion, something like that, and growing. But if you look at all the unfunded liabilities on a global scale, it's something like 1.5 quadrillion, and going and going. So if the whole world's in a state of collapse, all we have to do is stay just a little ahead of everyone else. We have to collapse a little less, and we're still on top.
Relativity,
right? You're in the woods. You're in the woods with two friends, and a bear starts chasing you. All you have to do is run faster than your two friends.
This is interesting though, because like, okay, so first of all, you talk about Greece, right? But like everybody's still there, so like their money collapsed, their government collapsed, but like life went on, right?
Yep.
And I think
Life
this
sucks
is a
there.
really important point because everyone's always afraid of like, oh my God, the dollar is going to collapse. The currency is going to collapse. And it's like, let it, because it's like,
Because there's Bitcoin.
yeah, but like all these like, or gold or so like, and I hate it when like the crypto people and the metal people talk, like they're like, they hate on each other because it's like realistically, either of those is so much better than the garbage fiat. Even to say like fiat has its pros, right? Pros and cons to all of it. Fiat
Everyone
has its
accepts
pros.
it.
It has some really bad cons, especially when you have really shitty people running it. But it has some pros. But my point is like you have like the dollar is going to collapse. That's why I wrote this book, Crash the Fed. It's going to, and like it's not even like it's just a house of cards. It's going to collapse on its own. We don't even have to do anything. We just have to stop trying to hold it up, because even the people who are like in the Fed, they're actually like trying to hold it up. Like, no, let's slow down inflation. No, let it go. Just let it go and let the thing fall. Because like, but here's the reality. Like people are like, oh my God, the world's going to end, and it's like, no, it's not. We're all going to survive. Like it's happened like 100 times over the last, I don't know how many years, but like in every other country.
Not that we won't survive. I think it's just that if you're unprepared for it, that like you could lose
times get
even
tough.
more footing. Yeah. And this is another problem where people that if they know what's going to happen, I was going to ask you, yes, exactly. And so some people that are smart enough can see the signs and know what's going to happen when you're not in the know, in the club or whatever. But I tend to think, and I was wondering how you think about this in doing this research for this book, like, do you think that the people that are like the bigwigs of the current fiat system, do you think that they know it's on a collapsing trend, and do they have lifeboats? Or, I mean, they're set up well enough that they're going to be fine no matter what.
They have lifeboats, but they're trying to keep the scam going as long as they possibly can. I mean, It's like Enron, right? Like Enron collapsed. But it's like they were trying to hold it up as long as they possibly could, right? And it's the same thing with anything like, you know, Fannie Mae and all that, you know, the 2008 collapse. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And like, but we all survived. And it's like, yeah, things get like really difficult. Sometimes, especially if you assume that the government's debt is your debt, which is a really stupid assumption to make, because you didn't sign for it. You definitely didn't receive all that money. Like, stop assuming that your kids have to pay that debt. That's not the way it goes. But
we're collateral on it. That's why we have a social security number.
Well, the tax revenue that they get from us is the collateral, but it's like there's no guarantee. You know, like if you have a business that makes like widgets or bread, whatever, like you can go to the bank and say, here's my revenue over the past 5 years. Give me a loan, and they'll give you a loan. That doesn't mean you're going to be like, well, we're going to try this new thing where we start putting shit in the bread and nobody buys it anymore. And then you're like, we don't have any customers, and the bank's like, where's my money? And we're like, sorry, we went out of business. That was your stupid idea for lending us money. Like that's where the government is, right? But this is what's funny is like the government's been very open about this, like. Your money's safe, right? Like there's never going to be a bank run again, like in the United States. That's never going to happen again, because they're just like, look, the ATMs are never going to run out of money because we're just going to print it. Like the chairman of the Fed has said this. It was just printed.
You can get your money, it'll just be worth less. Like, so it's like the illusion of security in that way. Like,
yeah. Well, didn't we talk about this a little over a year ago? It was the New York Fed. Someone hacked into it and stole, I think it was like $90 million. And they were like, well, did you recover the money? They're like, nah, we just rebalanced the sheets.
Yeah. We fixed the glitch.
Like, sorry, what?
Rebalanced. That's like, there's like that Seinfeld episode where they like tuck in the sheets, and they're like, no, don't tuck in the sheets. They're too tight. We rebalanced. Did you tuck the sheets?
All right, y'all. We had a few other links for this particular topic, but I think those links will take us down an extremely time-consuming rabbit hole. So we're going to push those.
Real quick before we go, because I was thinking of something. So something we were talking about earlier about like pushing the war button, and then it's like psychologically like harder to like want to unpush it. You know, once it's pushed. I was making a connection earlier when we were talking about taxes, and when you were talking, Dan, about like early on, and you're like, if you're doing more like entrepreneurial stuff and you're like, 1099 levels, you're just doing your own thing, it feels real weird to be like, wait, I earned this. And you're like, now I got to take a third of this and give it to the, it's very different than if you have a W-2 and it's automatically taken. And I think that people have a general psychological complacency compared to if you've ever done any kind of contract work like that or entrepreneurial stuff where you have to be like, I got to set aside how fucking much, like to get, I think it hits different. And I think it might be like just like a tie, like a human brain level, just.
And that was, and this is what's interesting about that. Paycheck withholding started during World War II. And so the income tax has already been there for like 40 years, 1913. And they were like, oh my God, the Germans are going to invade America.
Yeah.
Unless we all pay this victory
we
tax.
We need a cash advance from everybody. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Dude,
and
it's another emergency.
It's the same as COVID, right? Like, it's an emergency. Everyone do stupid stuff. Start putting masks on your face and doing whatever. Take this imaginary vaccine.
Let your government tell private businesses what they can do and not do with their hours and their whatever and all kinds of stuff, man. Yeah. Yep.
And it's stuck.
Yep. Well, we'll finish up this topic a little later if we have the time, but for now, it's trivia time, y'all. All right.
I'm out of rum.
By the way, Dan, I love your I'm a brand designer, and so I love the consistency of the color scheme that's going on. Down to your XLR cable is yellow, bro. That's awesome. Where did you find a yellow XLR? That's good.
Amazon.
I love it, man. That's a good detail. I noticed that.
Thank you. I had to rewire it because it was like some cheap.
You had some crackle.
Yeah.
I was looking at the yellow one. You got the crackle, man.
Exactly.
All right, Zane.
All right, everyone. Welcome to another week of Libations Trivia. We're glad you're here. This is where I would typically say, as usual, we have trivia in 3 rounds, but that is not true. As unusual, tonight is haiku night.
Oh, Christ.
I hadn't done a haiku category in a while, and I figured the people are clamoring for haikus. Haikus are also extremely easy for me to write because they hardly require any research because
they're
of
the
how
lamest
short they
of
are.
poems, yeah.
But there's actually a lot of points on the line tonight. There's a maximum of 210 points on the line tonight because how the scoring tonight is going to work is that each question is worth 1 plus the number of questions that you got right in a row before that one.
Oh,
so
God.
if you get the first
Comes the
question
new
right,
math.
that's worth 1 point. If you get the second question right, also that's 2 points.
Is this
If
like
you
a
get the third one right,
factorial? Is that how that works?
that's 3 points. But then if you get the fourth one wrong, then you don't get any points for that, and then you're back down to 1. So you get rewarded for getting lots of questions right in a row.
I feel like this is a video game where you get hit bonuses for combos or whatever.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. You want to get the combos.
This is Devil May Cry. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
All I got out of that was get as many right as you can.
Yeah, just don't be an idiot, I guess. I don't know. It's the same as usual, I guess. I'm going to lose. So.
Nick's not here tonight, so we all have a fighting chance. This is great.
Fair.
If you're in the audience, please leave a comment with your answer. I will be checking them.
Let's go.
Question 1. The letter Ezet represents a sharp S sound in this alphabet.
Are you looking for a nation?
I'm looking for an alphabet.
In this alphabet.
Where am I writing down the answer?
If you can, do you have a
that's
sheet of
right.
paper or
You told
anything
me-
with you?
You told me to have a.
I gave you the preparation notes, Dan.
I got the preparations.
If you have
A
your
through
phone,
G.
you can
I did
just
not
type
get
it
the
on there.
preparation H.
You're going to have to write it on your forehead. It's the only other way.
Jesus, I don't have a fucking pen around here. All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna type it into the. I'm gonna do this.
If you type it into
I'm
the
gonna
chat,
type it
that'll
into the
work too.
comments, and when you say go, I'm gonna press return.
You also have access to the
I mean-
private chat, Dan, so you can do it that way as well.
Yeah.
All right.
over there
all
on
right.
there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's where it was going. I think. Right.
Go ahead, Zane.
All right.
Don't start with Dan.
I
though.
guess we'll go in opposite order. Steven,
Cyrillic.
Jake,
Said Arabic.
Alden,
I mean, Germanic.
Ah.
I don't know.
Dan.
I put Greek.
This is the German alphabet.
Oh.
Okay. I did not know that, and I know a little bit of German.
Like Vice, like we say Weiss. In German, it would be Weis. It's a double S. Like,
Oh.
Oh, so that's cheating because he's German.
I'm not German. I took German, and
Well,
we
you said
sold those
we.
shitty chocolates in my club, dude. We sold the fucking chocolates.
Audience also got that one.
Ugh, disgusting.
Question 2.
Disgusting.
Winter sliding sport. Unlike the other sliders, these guys go head first.
I feel like I'm misspelling this. I don't think I've ever spelled this word.
That means you've also never searched for it on YouTube. Hey, I wonder if there's a match on tonight.
You're right. I've never done that. Oh Lord.
I also am not sure how to spell it.
Okay, I downloaded a drawing app so I could just like scribble some stuff in here.
Hey, there we go.
All
And
right.
it's making me watch ads and sign up.
Nothing's free.
All right. Steven,
Luge.
Jake,
Luge.
Oh god.
Alden,
I put an O in mine, but also luge.
Lounge.
Dan.
Lounge minus an
I went with curling.
curling with people.
I mean,
It's
the
only
guy
curling
who
if they hit a
throws
wall.
The thing does go kind of like, I mean,
I
maybe
want
his
to
hand.
see a really fast person like scrubbing in front of them down the luge. Like that would be.
Yeah, but they're
luge curling.
they're not the guy throwing the thing. Like that's like audience participation almost.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you are all very stupid because it's skeleton.
I love
that's
that we
an
were
event?
all wrong.
The audience got it right.
Is the luge like a no sled situation?
No, the luge, it's like you're in a little sled.
Okay, so I thought that's what that was.
That's
but-
bobsled. What the frick are
Well,
we talking
you're-
about here?
Luge, you're in a different kind of sled.
Ah, fuck, I don't
Zane,
know.
you're pissing me off again, man.
Oh,
We're only two
I've
questions
never even
in.
heard of the skeleton. I have no idea what.
Didn't know that was.
So-
How is that a sport? What?
so actually, luge, the sled is very similar to this one, but you go feet first instead of head first.
Okay,
Ah.
all right, yeah.
Okay.
Damn it, I don't know.
I'm
man. I
angry.
don't watch
There's
the-
no.
And then
okay,
the
yeah, I get
bobsled
it, but
is.
no.
And then there's also monobob, which is
No.
a one-person bobsled.
I've seen the Marble Olympics and they don't do this, you know.
Go to the next question.
Question 3. A Spanish mission. It is now the capital of New Mexico.
This is another one.
All I
don't
can
know
think
how
of
to
is
spell.
that Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Oh God. Okay.
Dadgummit, I know it's not this,
I don't know how to spell it.
but it could
Jesus Christ. The trivia always makes me feel like a fucking retard.
be. Me too, man. I cannot remember the capital of freaking New Mexico right now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
Go
right.
ahead.
Dan,
don't make fun of my spelling. I might not even have the right goddamn city. I have no idea, but
Dan,
I was gonna say Albuquerque. That's the only thing I know in New Mexico.
Alden,
I tried to write Albuquerque, but who knows what I wrote.
Albuquerque.
There's
I
an
said
R in
Santa
there.
Fe.
I said Albuquerque.
Audience says San Antonio. The answer is Santa Fe.
Hey! How about that?
I also pictured Bugs Bunny missing a right
Should have
at
made that
Albuquerque.
left turn, right?
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah.
Albuquerque is the largest city in New Mexico. but
Okay,
Santa
okay.
Fe is the capital.
Damn it.
I don't know
It's
why they
also-
wouldn't put the capital in the largest city. That just seems silly to me.
That's a Hyundai. A
Same as in
Hyundai.
Montana.
Not. Question 4. NYC venue named for a certain Andrew. Classical music.
Oh,
Andrew Garden?
Andrew Breitbart.
I know this one.
Classical music.
Nikki's gonna kill me that I don't know this.
I don't know this.
Dan.
Carnegie Hall.
Alden.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
Had
I was
Is that right?
That's it. Yeah. I was going to say
That's
Jackson,
definitely-
but yeah.
I said
only know that
Tate.
because-
There we go.
Steven.
I said Garfield.
I only know that because of a really bad joke my dad would always tell me.
Oh, man.
And he would think it was the fucking hilarious.
What? What is this?
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
Is this
Oh,
the
yeah.
practice thing? Or?
Practice. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, God. It's such a dad thing.
Yeah.
Steven, what did you end up saying?
Garfield.
Oh, dude. Oh, my God. I
We
love
all had
it.
different Andrews. That was great.
Yeah.
All
As soon
right.
as I heard
Audience
Carnegie, I
also
was
had
like,
that.
That's it, though, yeah.
It was either that or Madison Square Garden, and I was like, I don't know what I'm putting in here.
That's why I said I didn't know there was an Andrew
Famous places in
Garden.
New York.
Yeah.
Question 5. Aerosmith's lead man. He's so cool he got his own Guitar Hero game.
Wow.
I think I got it. Go ahead.
All right. Steven,
I'm gonna go with Steven Tyler.
Jake,
Steven Tyler.
Alden, Dan.
Yeah, all I got was Tyler.
That's fine. We
I was
accept
like-
last names here, so.
I was like,
Everyone
Liv
gets
Tyler?
it. It is Steven Tyler.
I know it's
Nice.
his daughter.
I get him confused with somebody else, but I don't remember who the other person is.
Really?
Yeah.
Another band or what?
No, just him. I get him confused with somebody else.
Your friend's grandma growing up that bought you cigarettes when you were 12.
And
'Cause
killed you in a bathroom? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's good.
All right, we're 25% of the way through. Steven has 1. Alden and Jake have 2. Dan has 3. Audience has 6.
I think it's
We
three.
are doing so good.
It's
But
anybody's game.
Dan and the audience are sitting on streaks of 2. Everyone else is sitting on a streak of 1.
Oh, that's right, because
Don't I
yeah.
have
Oh, I got
3?
2 in a row.
I thought I got 2 in a row. What were the last 2? Steven
Question
Tyler
4
was-
was Carnegie Hall, which
Oh
you
yeah,
did not-
I got.
No,
that
you
right.
said Andrew. Or you said Tate or whatever. Andrew
Said
Tate. Oh
Tate,
my god, yeah. Too good, dude.
All right, question 6. A simple machine, the Archimedean type, can transit water.
What?
You know, that little red thing in the diagram is a water drop, and it spins around and moves the water.
That is clearly.
I understood how to read the diagram. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm typing it in the chat because I don't think you can see my little. I mean, you can see that side. I don't think you can see the other side.
That's fair. Yeah, no, the chat works too. All right, Zane.
All right, Steven,
That would be a corkscrew, sir.
Jake,
A pump.
Alden,
I said an auger.
Dan,
It looks
A
like an
screw.
auger.
I just said screw.
Screw you.
audience says turbine, but that would be the screw.
Nope. Nope. That's not it.
So what's the difference between the screw and the auger?
Nothing. One moves
So do-
dirt. One moves water. I guess.
Do I get that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Corkscrew.
I think it's just a matter of
But
taste.
that opens wine, goddammit.
I was gonna say that moves wine. That doesn't move
That moves
water or
corn.
dirt.
I
If
think
Jesus was here right now, He'd be very
I think
upset
an
with you guys.
auger. I don't know, man. Whatever.
Well, because technically, I was asking for the name of the overall kind of simple machine, and then I just also added in some additional
It's
detail
a
about the
specific
screw
name,
Archimedes.
Archimedean screw.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know why they call him an
yeah.
Archimedean, because he wasn't very funny.
This is why I'm like, I don't know, man. It's like I think of an auger bit with like a drill bit or whatever, but like I forget that the general term for all things like that are screw you.
Auger
Yeah,
bombs.
I agree with that last statement.
Auger you know.
Yeah.
Eh.
That's screwed up.
Question 7. Lowest U.S. state by average elevation. Good for Joe Biden.
By average elevation. Oh, elevate. I'm thinking latitude, elevation. Lowest by average elevation.
Go ahead, Zane.
Dan,
Nevada.
Alden,
Florida?
Jake,
That would be Delaware.
Yeah, see, Florida. You were on that.
Steven.
Dang it. It is Delaware. I said Connecticut. I got
Florida is, I think, second or third lowest average, but it is Delaware.
Is it really seriously not the lowest? It gets jokes for being the flattest, but I think that's because Delaware's so
Flattest-
goddamn small that
Look,
it.
Yeah, Delaware's small, but flattest doesn't mean lowest. Those two things are not.
Yeah,
Looking
Kansas
for
is the
something
flattest.
with a
That's
dent in it.
fair.
No, Florida is actually the flattest.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Well, there you
And
go.
second or third lowest. All right.
And weirdest.
Question 8. Prolific actress in Evita, Dick Tracy, also a singer.
Oh no. Well, I'm getting this one wrong. I can't get a streak going.
Yeah, I've
I feel
been
like I'm in
very
Call of
off
Duty and
and
I
on.
keep getting killed every
Yeah.
single time before my
Call
second
of
kill.
Duty. No, that is the perfect comparison for this. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Oh, sweet. I got the
You gotta get
UAV.
your
Oh,
toast
man, I'm
streak.
dead again.
Yep. Yep. I can never get the chopper. Yeah. I might be able to get dogs, you know.
Dude, dogs were awesome.
I like dogs.
Go ahead, Zane.
Steven,
Hedy Lamar?
Jake,
Share.
Alden,
I don't know. I said Judy fucking Garland. I have no idea.
That's
Dan.
not it.
I had no clue. Best guess I had was Jennifer Lopez, but
I don't know what year this
Better
fucking
than my guess.
is.
All right, so everyone
Tracy
had-
was
It was like
90s.
I thought Dick Tracy was like the 80s or 70s.
Wait, yeah. Like which?
everyone
Dick
had a
Tracy? There's
reasonable
probably more than
guess
one.
except for Steven, because Hedy Lamar was like from the 40s and 50s.
She invented Wi-Fi. How dare it? She was in the 50s, though.
It was
Uh,
a period piece. She was playing.
None of
Hedy
you have
Lamar.
it, but the audience does have it. It
What?
is Madonna.
Oh god.
I
What?
was gonna say
This is-
that, but I was like, it couldn't be.
I didn't know Dick Tracy was as modern as that, honestly.
Dick Tracy.
I think it takes
Dick
place
Tracy?
in the 50s or something.
That's the thing. I remember Bugs Bunny referencing Dick Tracy shit, and so I thought it was old as shit.
Well,
but-
I remember like Warren Beatty was like the like, ooh, this is the new guy that's gonna play Dick Tracy in the 90s, 80s.
That's hilarious.
let's say Dick a lot more.
Yeah.
It's already on your brain
Question.
all the time, Alden.
Yeah.
Question 9. Leafy vegetable, staple of Southern cuisine. Spelling counts on this. And if you notice,
Oh.
I put the C in quotation marks, so you at least got
Yes,
the
we-
first letter.
Yes, we saw that. Thank you for
For the
making-
audio listeners.
Oh, okay, okay.
You've really got to make sure not to forget the word, not to forget the letter O in the word counts.
I mean, thank you, Zane. Again, when I know
I
something,
feel-
Zane's like, "Let me give it to you." Like,
I feel well. So I'd already written mine answer, down,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I feel like this could be more than one answer. But we're gonna see.
with a C.
I Look, his little hints in here mean nothing to me. I'm just guessing the one that I think is correct. Go ahead, Stephen.
There's one answer for this, but
Collards?
hell yeah.
Collard greens.
No, fuck you. It's collards. That's
No.
it. I wrote collard greens for the weirdos that are visiting the South. If you live here, it's collards. That's it.
I lived in Texas. I'm not from the South. I'm a Texan.
You're in. Texas is its own world.
All I could think of was Kamala Harris in the bathtub.
That's not even a C.
But I did it without an S.
I'll have a serving of Kamalas, please. I want a big side of Kamalas with ham hock in it.
Ooh, it's spicy. Did you put
Extra
Kamala in
vinegar?
it?
Yeah.
All right, everyone besides Dan gets it. The reason I had to do the little thing with the C is that I couldn't figure out a way of phrasing the question that would prevent like turnip greens from also like possibly being acceptable.
Oh wait, I didn't get it because I didn't put an S.
But it is collard greens.
Kamalas, yeah. You needed Kamalas plural.
How would people spell that other than that? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Whatever.
But spell Albuquerque. I'll be impressed.
I think for a long time I would have spelled it with like an E, like a collared shirt.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Question 10.
But you need a large
Country
collards, you know.
Country target of Operation Sea Lion during World War II.
All of them.
Probably an inland country, right?
Sea lion? Now is it? Okay, never mind. I was gonna make another Arrested Development joke, but it doesn't work here.
Well, now I'm curious though.
Sea lion or sea lion?
The C word.
The
All right,
C word.
And get the C word.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, Zane.
I'll leave when I'm good and ready. Where are there sea lions?
Dude, I'm
in Europe.
Who said it had to be Europe?
World War II?
Japan.
It is called
where are there sea lions in the Pacific? That's even weirder to me.
I mean, literally all up and down California.
Yes,
maybe
okay,
the
but that's
invaders were the sea lions.
Are you sure it's not Operation Dugong?
All right, Steven.
Greenland.
Jake.
Japan.
England.
Australia.
Dan.
Dude,
Land.
Australia's. I was gonna guess Australia for some reason.
That's the land of the dugongs, bro. That's where I was thinking. Yeah.
All right. Well, Operation Sea Lion was the Nazi plan, never actually put into effect, but it was a plan to do a land invasion of the UK.
Hey!
What? I feel like you should have named it
even know
the
what sea
German
lions were?
name for it, not the not the English name.
You assumed this is we call this ally bias.
Yeah, the double S is silent at the beginning of United Kingdom.
The double S. The S sound is silent. To harken back to our first trivia question. No, okay, no.
Gracious. Okay.
All right. We're at question 10. We now have Jake and Steven both with 4, Alden was 5, Dan was 6, and the audience was 12.
Yeah.
Oh, we're effed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Although Alden is the only one with a streak at the moment.
Hey, I'm less effed.
Alden streaking.
When I'm streaking,
Question
that means
11.
you're effed. Yeah.
Know your enemy, says this Chinese strategist in The Art of War.
You have to spell it right.
No.
Go ahead.
Steven.
Lao Tzu.
2.
Confucius says.
Dan.
Sun Tzu.
All right, so I'm gonna give Jake the point because
Of course you are.
I can understand why you would think that Sue would be acceptable on its own, but Asian names, the family name is actually first.
I know that.
And the personal name is last.
Look,
So
you did the
actually
last German word in English, so I'm going to do Chinese names in English too. So that's what we're going to go with. You better give me the dadgum point.
But it is Sun Tzu.
Yes.
Damn it! I
Sun
almost said
Tzu.
moon.
Sun Tzu is the art of war,
Yeah, that's what he said. Art of
written
War.
by Lao Tzu.
What?
No, Sun
right?
Tzu.
No,
Is
Sun
it-
really?
Tzu wrote the Art of War.
Oh,
How does it work if you get half credit on this weird?
There is no half
holding
credit.
scale?
Steven just doesn't get any credit.
yeah. There we go.
You were too specific,
You
Steven.
get the point, but you break the streak.
There you go. Now that you get to choose, break your streak or get the point. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Steven did not have a streak, and he doesn't get the point.
There we go. Yeah. There's that streak. Golly, I messed that one up.
All right, question 12. Governing paper by Continental Congress pre-Constitution.
I didn't know we were still going. I don't know why I thought we were done.
We have 20 questions.
Only 2 more than usual.
I don't know why.
Dan.
For some reason, it felt like the resolve. You know, I think it's because I know I've already lost, and so I'm just like, well, I'm done. You know, I
Dan,
think it's because I'm out of beer, is why.
Go ahead, Dan. Dan, what do you got?
Oh, I got Articles of Confederation, or as Sun Tzu likes to call it, the Articles of War.
Alden,
Same.
Same.
Jake, Steven.
I actually blinked out. So
Oh,
there we go.
Of all the people, I thought you'd have just. nailed it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
Well,
had
it
those,
is-
man. I have.
I need to
those.
start drinking again. Apparently.
I need to start drinking. Yeah, it loosens you up. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Question 13.
Stop trying to
Positively charged subatomic particle. Hydrogen
I'm
has
going to grab a
one.
beer, but I know this one. I'll come right back.
Go ahead. His fridge isn't that far away.
All right, Steven,
I'm gonna go with a proton.
Jake,
I don't want to answer anymore.
Now
right,
you
Dan,
know what you wrote.
Oh man, I biffed that one.
Alden,
Alden, answer.
Proton.
Dan.
Proton.
Audience also has it. It is the proton.
The beer ton.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to go. I think I have some vodka in the other room.
There we go.
Yeah.
Question 14. Algebraically, this vowel represents the
Algebraically.
base of natural log.
I've never heard that as an adverb before in my life. That's hilarious.
Algebraically speaking, jet fuel can melt steel beams.
Was that a Ben Shapiro impression?
Oh my god. I was not
Nope,
expecting
now I should be
that
embarrassed.
at all. That's fucking hilarious, man. Oh my god. Okay.
Algebraically, this
What was the
vowel
question? Jesus.
represents the base of natural log.
Well, you were all talking so expertly about logarithmically scaled charts earlier, so I expect you to all know this.
Oh yeah, we're so versed in it.
I got. I'm gonna make a. I need a thicker pen so you guys know I'm not cheating. We're on the honor system here, right?
No, we legit are.
Oh yeah.
All right, Steven.
I don't have a.
I'm gonna go with E.
Jake.
I.
Alden.
This feels so wrong, but I'm going Y, even though that feels very wrong.
Dan.
I went with E, but I put it in uppercase. Do I get penalized for that? I was trying to make it bigger so the camera would pick it up, but it's just not working.
Audience says I, but it is E.
I would be the square root of -1.
That's right.
Dan, be quiet.
Or the stupid integer that's used in loops.
Spoken like a true.
Is that a
software
technical
developer.
term?
Yeah. Because I actually I met some people who were like, you need to stop using I in loops. That's a thing now.
Oh, really?
Question
it's
15.
millennials.
World's leading maker of motorcycles engines. This Japanese firm.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Between two of them, and I don't know which one.
Right?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go with this one.
I'm gonna go with the cheaper one.
Oh my God! Now there's 3 of them in my head. Okay.
There's so many.
What's the third? There's only 2 that it could be leading, though. Come on. If it's not one of these 2, I protest.
Worldwide?
Yeah.
I'm curious the 2 that you're thinking.
It's the 2 obvious ones.
All
Just
right.
Think
Dan.
obvious.
I went with the one that makes musical instruments also.
Yeah. Honda? The Honda piano? I went Honda,
All right.
but
Jake.
I went Suzuki.
Steven.
Kawasaki.
see, so I was thinking Honda or Yamaha. Me and Jake weren't even thinking the same 2. That's funny.
I was thinking.
I forgot about
Yamaha or
Kawasaki.
Kawasaki.
I forgot about Kawasaki.
Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda, Yamaha. Those are like my top 4. Like,
So the origin of this company is like right after World War II. The Japanese people were so poor they couldn't really afford cars, but they could afford motorized bicycles. So this guy Honda started.
Dadgummit! My first bike was a freaking Honda.
I was gonna say, Jake,
Unbelievable.
Dude, I remember in college I picked on you because you were driving a Honda, and at the time you didn't know that they sold motorcycles before cars. It was like a whole thing. But
It was the
My
best
mom used to
motorcycle.
call those pregnant skateboards.
what? Never heard that in my life. That's hilarious.
For some
All
reason,
right.
I just thought in my brain I thought Honda wasn't Japanese, but I don't know where I got that from.
It's because they branded it like to look like a Harley Davidson for the Shadow in America or whatever. But
Maybe I don't know why.
All right. With 5 questions to go, we've got Jake and Steven with 7, Alden with 9, audience with 15, and Dan had a streak of 4 in a row there, so he's now in the lead with 16.
nice.
Oh my
Nicely
god,
done.
Dan,
Don't
you
tell my
might be
wife, she
our
won't have
first
my win.
guest. You might be our first guest in like a year to actually
Yeah.
win trivia.
Apparently, we normally have retarded guests.
Algebraically speaking, of course.
Of course. No offense to all of our past guests. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
No,
Question
offense.
16.
Offense.
Charlotte's Web author also co-wrote Grammar Guide, Elements of Style.
Dadgummit. I don't know who wrote Charlotte's Web.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Oh, come on. Is this thing... I think my computer's crashing again.
I think it is. You're frozen. Get back here quickly, Steven! Yeah, he's gone.
All right, Dan.
I'm trying to think of who wrote 1984, and I can't even think of the name. So I'm going to go with Ayn Rand.
It's not George Orwell.
I don't know why I was drawing a blank on that. Orwell. That's what I was getting. That's my answer. Orwell,
Alden.
which is equally wrong.
Fuck. Mark Twain.
Jake.
Charlie Webb.
Audience is also stumped. They're not. Audience gets it. It's
Yeah, the audience
E.B.
has
White.
Google.
Damn it! Fuck! I took my fucking headphones off because I had a flash of it in my head, and then you kept talking, and I lost it. I
This is
swear to
who they
God, that's
named
so.
Breaking Bad after.
What's that?
What? What? Are you talking
Breaking
Walter
Bad, right?
White?
Wasn't that
Walter
it?
White, yeah.
Walter with an E.
Walt Whitman. God, I'm so mad at myself on that one.
Question 17. Acclaimed director used real bodies as props for Apocalypse Now.
Oh, dadgummit.
Oh no, I was thinking of a different one. But those are real skeletons. Oh, that was what's his name?
Quick, Steven, do you know who wrote Charlotte's Web?
I do not.
Okay, then you would not have gotten the last one.
Yeah, who is it?
E.B. White.
Oh man, I knew it was like abbreviated something.
Yeah. I had that one on the tip of my dick.
That's the odd place for it.
That's where it was. I lost it.
All right, Dan.
It's the same guy who directed the moon landing.
No, it's not.
No,
it's
no,
not.
no.
It's not the same guy.
It's not Stanley Kubrick.
It's not Kubrick. Yeah.
Okay.
But we know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I couldn't think of his name.
You're
That
only
was my
wrong
guess.
about
They were-
part of that. Yeah.
They were friends, though.
Alden.
Is it the fucking
Yeah, it's him.
like wine guy? The what the hell is it? Like Capote or what? Not Capote.
Oh,
It's not Truman Capote.
Not Capote. That's the wrong.
Jake.
Whatever.
Chopper.
You're gonna kick yourself, Alden. Francis Ford
Coppola. I couldn't think of the goddamn.
No.
Yeah, I know the wine you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's
It's
Nicolas
his-
Cage's uncle.
It's like his daughter's wine or something, but I couldn't think of the fucking name. Francis Ford Coppola, motherfucker.
Way to
Steven?
capitalize on your grandpa's.
I got it wrong. I said Martin Scorsese.
He
Audience
wishes.
does also have it. It's Francis Ford Coppola.
God damn it! I'm so
Alden's
mad.
got it too. Dadgummit.
I want it known that I know who it is. I just couldn't think of the name.
Francis Ford Capote.
Capote. Yeah, I couldn't. Do you ever have that thing where once a similar word enters
Yep.
your brain,
Oh,
it
it's
just
over.
Get off of it.
I can't I'll
Branded.
I'll wake up 3 years later and I'll be like, oh my god, it's that. But yeah, motherfucker. Carry on.
There are certain times when I'm trying to answer a trivia question where a certain part of a word or even a single letter just pops into my head,
Yeah.
but not
And
the
it-
rest
It
of it.
starts with
And
an
it
S.
ruins.
I know for sure it starts with an S, and then it starts with an E.
Yeah.
Question 18. Video game guy
That's
with
easy.
name roughly translating as Bad Mario.
What?
I don't even know. I'm typing and writing. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's Solid Snake.
Roughly translating as Bad Mario.
I got this.
All right, Steven,
Wario.
If anyone says Luigi,
Jake,
my day will be made.
It's a Bowser.
Alden,
Wario.
That says Wardo. Wario.
Honestly, that is exactly what that looks like. I'm so sorry. That's just a
It is.
handwriting.
Where's Wardo?
Wardo.
Wario.
Wario.
So it's a portmanteau of a Japanese word that starts with the wa sound and Mario, and that Japanese word means just bad.
It
Is that
means
what?
Honda.
Is that how they got that?
I see. I always thought it meant war was bad.
I always thought it was just upside down, like Bizarro Batman.
Dude, that
Bizarro
makes so
Superman,
much
whatever.
sense.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Well, this also explains the name of Waluigi because it means bad Luigi.
Yeah, but I like Dan's idea better.
Yeah, it should be 7 Luigi.
70G.
Oh god.
All right.
Like
Question
Berserk, or
19.
What's the Bizarro Superman? That's the
Yeah, bizarre. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
ABC drama starring Nathan Fillion as new policeman.
who the fuck is Nathan Fillion?
Dude, you'd recognize him, I promise. Dude is hilarious. He's like made cameos in so many things.
A comedy.
ABC, which already gives me nothing. Drama.
They do
Nathan
promote
Fillion,
the ever living crap out of it, though.
Is this current?
It's still
Is
on.
this
I don't have
19
Still on.
TV.
It's been on for like 10 years.
Oh, damn. Okay, hold on.
Giving y'all
I'm gonna
hints.
go with this one.
Enjoy.
Actually, no, that doesn't help at all.
I have no fucking idea. I don't watch TV, like TV.
I don't either. I've never seen the show.
What? How do you know so much about this?
Because they advertise the ever living crap out of it. That's why.
All right,
I'm
Dan.
pretty sure they had one during the Super Bowl. this year.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Alden.
CSI Albuquerque.
It's the rookie.
Steven.
Firefly.
Audience also has it. It's the rookie.
I like the Firefly answer better, though.
Last question. The Seahawks RB named
I don't know
Super
shit
Bowl
about
MVP from Michigan State.
Dude, I don't remember who their running back is.
He looks like he doesn't even know his name.
Oh, you should hear him talk in a microphone. It gets better.
maybe this guy. I know he used to be a running back for the Seahawks.
He was on my fantasy team
Yep.
that fell apart. And then he did really good in the Super Bowl, even though he had a shit fucking year last year. Whatever. Not salty, not salty.
Not salty, not salty.
All
Go ahead, Zane.
Steven.
I hope I'm talking about the right guy. Marshawn Lynch.
Nope.
Jake.
Nope.
Nope.
Kenneth Walker.
The what?
I think he's
Alden.
like the third or fourth or something.
It's the
like that.
third, yeah. KW. KW.
Ron Paul.
And it's KW9 or whatever. Like. What did you
like
say?
Final answer.
Got a mention of Ron Paul in there.
Ron Paul. I want to see that. I would pay to see that run.
Hey, I heard he's actually a legit baseball player.
Yeah.
I believe it.
There you go.
It is Kenneth Walker III.
Hey.
Okay, so from this last Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just this. Yeah. Well, the only Super Bowl he's been in.
From the last what?
Super Bowl.
What's that?
All right. Final scores. We've
It's
got
like a
Steven
really big bowl of weed. Like, yeah.
We've got Steven with 8, Jake and Alden both with 11, Dan with 17, and the audience ended there with a streak of 5 questions in a row. They have 29 points.
Oh my gosh.
Because that next.
That is utterly painful.
That's logarithmically painful.
Yeah. And they're the ones who whine about it being rigged all the time. They win.
Yeah, it is
about half
rigged.
the
It's
time.
rigged in their favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got ChatGPT now, though, so
Yeah.
they were cheating for sure.
They definitely were. Although they would definitely argue that they have never looked up a single answer.
Prove it.
All right. Well,
I'm subpoenaing Google records.
congrats to the audience. Good job, y'all. Way to win that very unique trivia game that Zane put on for us. Thank you, Zane, for hosting. All right. We're going to get into our final topic of the evening because we're definitely not going to get back to the previous topic at this point in time.
No, it's all right.
It's way too late and I got stuff to do. So
I have things to eat.
all right, we're going to move back into the Epstein files a little bit. According to new reports, documents tied to the Epstein files reveals that the FBI's New York office was hacked in 2023 on the night of the Super Bowl, resulting in the reported deletion of approximately 100 terabytes of
Isn't that
evidence
convenient?
data.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean, one
that
of the
like,
first. What's that?
Wasn't that like the whole basis of the Watergate scandal? Like someone broke in during something else and destroyed a bunch of stuff?
That sounds right. Yeah. I haven't looked into that in a long time. But yeah, one of the first things is hacked, huh? You mean they deleted the evidence and said they were hacked?
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. This wasn't the
They guessed
primary
our password.
It was swordfish.
the primary thing I wanted to talk about was Bill Clinton talking about this during his deposition.
She stated that President Clinton was her friend, not Epstein's friend. Is that accurate?
I'd say that it was accurate to say that I felt closer to her than him.
And for the record, why was that?
Because I had seen her more and because she was very good friends with Evelyn Rothschild and his wife, Lynn, whom I knew and was in regular touch with.
She stated that
So during his deposition, Bill Clinton admits that he was closer to Ghislaine Maxwell because of her friendship and his friendship with the Rothschilds family.
There's no good answer here. Yeah.
You missed it. You missed it. He was in regular touch with her.
Regular touch.
Regular touch.
Yeah.
Do you think that's physical touch, Dan, or do you think it's
Well, okay, look, I just want to say this. In like this other part of this interview, they're asking him about the picture of him in the jacuzzi with this other girl.
Yeah.
Like all I could hear in my head was, I did not have sexual relations with that underage woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
And he's flipping through the photos and laughing, and his attorney like snatches them out of his hands, like,
and he takes them back. And he keeps laughing.
That was a great time.
What is going on with that dude? And how does his voice still sound like he sounds like an idiot? I like he sounds worse than RFK Jr. does. I didn't know that was possible.
Okay,
That's
first
crazy.
of all, don't make fun of people from Alabama in general.
Alabama.
What was the guy that?
Isn't that where he's from?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah, he was.
No, I will definitely make fun of people from Arkansas.
Didn't he get in trouble for
the
like
same kind of accent?
He was under investigation for like weird like smuggling cocaine into the fucking state charges or some weird thing or whatever.
while he was governor.
Right.
Well, governor of
because
Arkansas.
he was tied up with the Dixie Mafia.
Yes.
Dude, he was.
And
what was that Tom Cruise movie that he was?
It was the
American
CIA.
Made.
Yeah, it was the CIA
It was
whole
during
smuggling
that
thing.
time.
It was Mena, Arkansas.
And then guess what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bring up 9/11. But this is the lesser known. It's like building 5 or 6 or whatever, where there was like a safe in the basement, and there was somehow like a hole that went all the way through like 5 stories and hit this safe, and it housed the records for all these like national cases like this. And his case during his time as governor of Arkansas, and all the records were fucking destroyed in that shit. And it was like a fucking, basically they were like, oh, I don't know, some piece of wheel from the plane went through 5 fucking levels of building, and it was essentially a bunker buster bomb that hit this safe. Anyway,
it was because the FBI had a storage room in the basement of one of the buildings.
Yep.
This was not Building 7?
Not 7. This was another building.
It was the FBI had like a whole evidence locker, and
Was this like direct energy weapon?
It was their docket.
It was
wild.
They sent, I think it was like a bunker buster bomb kind of a thing that went through.
That's not true. If that was true, I would have heard about it on CNN.
No. That got me. That's funny.
Alden was about to fight you, Dan.
I was prepared to gently push back, but now I don't need to. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll look.
I mean, just in case anybody out there who's watching or listening doesn't know, like the Rothschilds have been a very powerful family for a very long time. They're the ones who set up central banks around the world, including the Federal Reserve here in the United States. They've done a lot of very shady things over their span of being so powerful. And it's really weird that a former president is in constant touch with one of these people. Not weird, actually. It's understandable, and it's actually makes sense, but it is unfortunate, and it's hilarious that he admits it, like just out in the open. Like, it's wild.
Wait, hold on. He's constantly touching a child that is related to Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems about right too. Yeah, it does seem like that's what he was admitting to. So, I just found that to be. If you haven't watched any of the deposition, there are some very uncomfortable parts of that deposition that I did not care for at all. Yeah, but I found that little bit to be interesting.
So it was Building 6, by the way, and it was the U.S. Customs House, and it held the records for national level cases like this, that were like internal affairs level things against like different people, like fucking Bill Clinton or whatever. And we started to get into this on our whole episode, where there was a reporter that showed up and he saw inside the safe at the bottom, and it was cracked and open, but it was completely empty, like someone had wiped it out. And then he went home to Colorado, and his wife had committed suicide by the time he got home, and he fled to South America and has been there ever since, and has not come back because he knows who would be after him with what he had seen and blah, blah, blah. It was a whole thing. So
dadgum.
Yeah. Precursor for another episode, but
heck yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, on YouTube tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, there's our strike. I'm sorry, Dan. Everything that you said, we're going to get pulled from YouTube. So.
No, we are. I mean, YouTube is
waiting
not
for the day.
Dude, YouTube is definitely. We used to get hundreds of views, sometimes thousands on YouTube. It's never been our biggest platform, and now we get like 6.
It's probably we're shadow banned probably on there.
Yeah,
because of me,
like
basically.
Our platform is Rumble. Like if you want to talk to a bunch of the folks who watch this show, they're all on Rumble. Yeah, it is. So go check out Rumble. All right, y'all. I didn't want to spend. I mean, we don't have too much time because it's already 10 o'clock and I got crap to do. So we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to move on to Drunkard.
I am not fucking drunk.
Well, 19th are blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Drunkard of the Week, the part of the show where we show somebody saying or doing something that can only be explained if they're drunk, but they're not. There were a few great nominations this week. You can nominate folks via our Discord or via X by tagging us at Liberty Libation or hashtag Drunkard of the Week. The winner, though, I was going to pick that Marine that screamed during one of the Senate hearings.
I almost specifically put that in that as the hero guy,
but he has too much of a idiotic background to be a full-on hero. So
I don't know his full story.
Oh, dude, he was going to be it, and then I started looking into him. He sucks in general, even though he was absolutely correct with his with what he said during the Senate hearing. So
he's, as a separate take, was correct about that, and is fucked up that he was removed in the way that he was. But I don't know.
He was removed by a Montana senator, Tim Sheehy. Broke that dude's arm in the process of getting him out of there.
And no one in the room turned even around to look. They were all just like robots, just facing forward. It was really
depressing
weird.
Video. Depressing. So anyway, our Drunkard of the Week. There you go.
Positive thing in the emails. First fucking positive thing I've seen.
Really?
Meaning like someone did the right thing. That's what I'm referring to as positive. There's nothing positive related to Epstein. But the CEO of Hermes, Alex Dumas, worldwide, very big, high lifestyle brand. Jeffrey Epstein was trying to get in with him hardcore in 2012, 2013, I believe. The guy was like, fuck you, you're a pedo. So then Jeffrey Epstein in 2016 donated a large sum of money to a charity associated, it sounds like, with Hermes or with Dumas personally, and he sent the fucking money back. Nice. So shout out to Alex Dumas.
We want to be free to do what we want to do. Yeah. We want to get loaded. Yeah. And we want to have a good time.
Actually, Axel Dumas. And yeah, Axel Dumas sent back a donation that came from Epstein because he hated Epstein.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was like millions of dollars too. Like it was not a small donation. It
Someone
was
with
a
principles
lot of money.
and an even decent judge of character radar.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know what that dude's politics are, but at least he gets points
I don't care.
for exactly what he just did. So
Yeah.
Bravo to Axel Dumas. Go buy yourself some, what is it, Hermes
Actually,
clothing?
don't do that because it will drain your bank account.
Oh, will it? Is it?
Hermes is an extremely luxury brand.
Okay, well, go drain your bank accounts, everybody.
Whatever you want to do.
Buy Bitcoin.
Give him back the money that he had from Epstein.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like this is less powerful now that I'm like, oh, it's that kind of brand. I'm like, oh, well, then $1 million. He's like, whatever, take your pocket change back. Like,
Yeah, but there are others who didn't do that.
no, that's totally fair.
All right, everybody. So thank you all so much for tuning in for the entire show. After this little wrap up bit, we're going to get to watch some funny videos that I found this week. But before that happens, Dan, you've written 2 books. Can you tell us what they are, please?
I can try.
Is it Charlotte's Web?
Just drink a half bottle of rum. Okay, so I got this one up here. So Taxation Is Theft: How Politicians Rob You Blind.
It is.
This book started out like 2 or 3 times as long, and I was like, I can't make one book that big, so I had to like trim it down and take out like the most important stuff about everything from like the philosophy and psychology of taxes and how they actually rip us off. So there's a lot of really interesting information in here, everything from like Supreme Court rulings to how they're like, oh, well, if every other country in the world can steal from their citizens, why can't we? Really interesting words coming out of like just like, authoritarian government, but it's interesting to see how they think and how they actually base their premise of how they can rob us.
I hate that there's so much material that you had to be like, you know what, I can't fit this into one book. Like,
yeah,
it's so annoying.
It was. It was. So, and like everyone's like, so is this the book that tells me how to not pay taxes? No, that one's coming next. But
this is the why you're getting fucked book. Like.
Exactly. This is because this is like, it's a premise because it's really like this kind of explains like how they use, like, I call it mind control, which I know people hate that word because they're like, oh, it's conspiracy theory, like, space lasers and shit.
That's MK Ultra bullshit. That's not real, even though it is. But
it's Coca-Cola putting like videos on TV of people smiling and holding up a can of Coke, making you associate happiness with a bottle of Coke, so you go and buy more of it, and they're like the world's most valued brand. Like that, like it's like they use it commercially, but it's literally psychology and it's mind control. Like it's repetition. It's how do they get all these Trump supporters to go from anti-war to pro-war? It's mind control, and it's not space lasers or anything like that. It's just like it's the messages they tell us, and it's the same reason we pay all these taxes, because we think like, oh, the government's there to like do good for us, when really they're like stabbing us behind the back. And it's like, yeah. So, anyways, there's like a lot of really interesting like philosophy and psychology and everything that goes into that.
We can call it mind manipulation to be like a little bit less. It just has a little less of a zing to it or whatever, but it is so true. And if you know psychology, then you know how to manipulate people. And like, there's a term in psychology called like commitment and consistency, where like you get someone to like agree to this and then agree to this and then agree to this. It's how hypnosis basically works, where like you get someone to like acknowledge like, something that's like, what is your name? And you're like, I'm Alden or whatever. And then like, you don't start with like, fuck the person on your left. Like that's too grand, you know what I mean? But like you build up to that, and then pretty soon you're doing that. Like, and they've been abusing these same principles. I'm interested. I want to read this.
It's very much like it's art of war. It's art of psychology. The laws, 48 laws of power, like all this stuff is used against us in like very manipulative ways. So, and like, and then they tell us, oh, it's for your safety, which is like total bullshit.
And it's national security, so we can't tell you, but it's for your safety. And it's an emergency, so we're going to do this even though it aborts all of these laws. And it's bullshit.
Right.
Exactly.
Second book.
All right, so Crash the Fed. This is basically, man, I've run into so many libertarians who are like, yeah, we need to end the Fed. And then I find out that they actually have their retirement funds saved in U.S. Treasury bonds, and I'm like, you realize if the Fed ends, those are going to be worthless, right? But this book actually lays out a plan, because like I've heard a million people say we need to end the Fed, and then they softened it to audit the Fed. And I've never heard anyone give me an actual explanation of like, okay, but what do we do next? And like, I hear people say, oh, well, what do you do with cancer when you remove it? What do you replace it with? Nothing, right? Okay, sure, that makes sense. But like, we're talking about like, so like, how does this happen? Everyone has money in their pockets and it's just all of a sudden worthless? Or like, how do we get out of this, right? So this basically walks through how to prepare yourself for the collapse and how to stop preventing the collapse. Because those same like people who are like, hey, we need to end the Fed, they're also the ones who are like, hey, we need to stop borrowing and printing money. And it's like, no, let them borrow and print more money, because that's how the thing collapses on its own.
The collapse comes from that, yeah.
Yeah, like the politicians aren't going to walk in there and be like, oh yeah, we're done borrowing money, we're just going to end the Fed. That's not going to happen, right? So
it needs to get so bad, and in order for it to get so bad, you're going to have to bail and go to something else. And Jake would probably say that something else is Bitcoin. But in general, you should have another plan in place. Yeah.
Whether it's crypto, whether it's metals, whether it's land, bullets, alcohol, like anything that's like, like
70s porn mags, whatever your thing is, like whatever's going to be valuable later.
Think about what's going to be great for barter. And somebody brought up a really good point. They're like, look, during an economic collapse, you can have as much gold as you want. You're not going to be able to go trade it for groceries, right?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah. But 5 years after the collapse, when shit's starting to come back together, you are going to be able to trade that for, if there's another currency that's out there, if people are starting like, whatever. So it's the thing is that it lasts through the collapse.
I think it's Pokemon like cards, but yeah. It's is it going to, like, are people going to, like, I mean, you could say the same about Beanie Babies or anything else, right? Like, but those kind of like fizzled out. So it's like, it is all still kind of a gamble, but I stash food, just to be real. Like, I've got like a lot of food.
We do too.
So if food ever becomes valuable, I'm doing good.
Or the land that you grow it out of, right?
Yeah.
Which is arguably more valuable. But yeah, so it's it's really just preparing for it, but it's like, stop trying to like hold up the house of cards, just let it collapse. Stand back and let it collapse so it doesn't fall on your head.
People are very afraid of the actual collapse, even the ones that say that they want to see a change though. And I think that if you don't have something to like Indiana Jones switch to, that is scary. But if you have a plan in place for said collapse, then you can feel more confident in it. And then you can be like, no, I support the collapse because I'm prepared. But I also think that there's the concept of individually being prepared. And then there's the concept of like trying to get everybody prepared, trying to get your community prepared, get everybody learn how to take care of yourself, store a little food, maybe learn how to hunt, learn how to fish, maybe diversify your investments, on all kinds of things. I would like for all of us to get better at being prepared for this, so that we can let go this dying dinosaur fucking fiat currency system. Anyway,
this is
all to do.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's a huge part of it. It really is. But to your point, like, it's so there's a lot of interesting factors here, right? Because so let's say we've got 350 million people in the U.S. I've already left, so don't count me. But
349,400. Yeah.
Right. So, but here's the thing. So it's like, okay, if 5 million people have learned to be more or less self-sufficient, then it's like, okay, you only have 99.5% of the country who's going to be like terrorizing the grocery stores and the supply shops, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if you get that up to 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, the higher you get that, the fewer people you have who are going to be like going crazy and losing their minds and like looting and rioting. And so yeah, it's like,
and the safer it is,
feels like it's never enough, but it's like the more that we have, and you just keep sharing this information and educating people so that they can survive on their own, the closer we get. And this is interesting too, because a lot of people are worried about debt, right? Like, but I can't save. I have debt. I have bills to pay. So stop paying your bills. I mean, like, because this is the thing.
Have you considered not paying your bills?
Seriously. Think about it. So you don't have any property and you have a bunch of credit cards, and like, you know, so you're going to pay your credit cards before you go buy food to feed your family, right?
Nope.
Like what? So like,
Not before that, yeah.
People are afraid and they're like, I got to pay down these credit cards. I mean, it's like, look, when the dollar starts collapsing, they're going to be printing so much of it. Inflation is going to be going so fast that it's like minimum wage is going to be $500 an hour because that's going to buy you basically like a French fry.
Oh yeah.
And then,
and
then your $10,000 credit card is going to look like, oh, I could work that off in a half an hour. So
hey,
like,
there's, you know what's funny? Savings falls apart. Debt looks real good. If there's inflation, that's funny. Actually, I never really thought about that. Yeah.
So don't lend anybody money, but it's interesting because you could, and like, I'm not recommending this, but a lot of people say like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get a credit card and I'm just going to go buy a bunch of crypto and gold and, you know, run up my credit card bill. And cause you know, my crypto is going to go to the moon. Right. Like people are thinking like that. And it's like, you know what, if you do that at the end of the day, the credit card company, they can try to sue you, but they can't, you know, if your money's not in a bank account, they can't just take it from you.
They can't claim physical assets and things like that. And
yeah. So yeah, it's leveling the playing field, but like we need to look at it because like, everybody's just like, I had a roommate one time and he was behind on his credit card bill and he started getting phone calls from like India and they're like, motherfucker, you better pay your bill, or, you know, and like because this is the thing, they were outsourcing to India because they knew they could get really aggressive on the phone and they wouldn't be breaking any laws because they couldn't be sued.
Indian phone mob. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got cussed out at work by Navy Fed.
Damn. Okay.
Years ago.
So it's like, but they have really strong laws against that. If they start calling you and harassing you, you can actually sue credit card collectors and get like a shit ton of money out of them really easily. But so they have these things in place, but like people are just afraid, and it's like you don't have to be afraid. You can literally tell. I've had credit card collectors call me up because I went through like, you know, bad times with like too much credit card debt, and I was just like, I'm just not going to pay at some point, and they would tell me like, oh yeah, well you got to pay, and we're going to do this, we're going to sue you, we're going to do it, and I told them, well, hey, according to the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Act, you can't call me anymore. And I stopped getting calls from them.
Yep.
Nice.
Like,
so you just have to know your rights and name them.
It's exactly
and
that.
Don't be afraid. Yeah. And don't, because the first time I tried that, I was like, what if I say that and I piss him off? You know, like,
yeah.
And it's the same thing with cops. Like, oh, he's asking me if I can search my car. Like, I know I can tell him no, but like maybe if I just let him search my car, he'll go easy on me. Like, this is the thought process that goes through our heads because we're afraid until we get to that breaking point where we're like, no, screw this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
No, Alden, we're gonna end
okay.
there, man.
Yeah.
We're going over.
It's 10:22. It's fine.
Yeah. Dan, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show, brother. This has been great. We're gonna watch a few funny videos now. So y'all go buy his books, danforfreedom.com. And his books are also on Amazon if you don't want to buy from his personal website, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but go to his personal website, danforfreedom.com. Go check it out. Great website. And we're going to watch some funny videos, and then Jake's going to go to bed. All right. Video number 1.
That's Zimbabwe? That's Zulu. That's South Africa.
Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do it.
Do it.
So
Ready?
you sing it like, Ingonya Magiti Baba.
You were way off.
Ingonyama.
All right. What does it mean?
It means, look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
You're joking. That is not what that means. That is not what that means.
That's exactly what it means.
That's what it means. Look, there's a lion.
Oh my God.
Look, there's a lion. Oh my God.
There's a lion.
Look, I have no idea if that's actually true, but if
I was reading through like 1,000 comments trying to see, and there was a lot of people that confirmed it. The one person that differed said instead of God, it was Father. Could be another interpretation, but like that's basically kind of the same thing, you know.
Dude, that is too dang funny.
It fucking it shook me that how.
Oh, goodness.
I grew up with that shit, and that was absurd.
Here's the second video of the night.
Surprise development, France has surrendered amid the Israel-Iran conflict. Let's go to Trere for the latest.
That's right, Raj. They surrendered last night. They just don't know to who.
Oh, that was a good one. Okay, hang on one second.
And it's Raj and Trey Ray.
Yeah.
What did I hit? Not again!
I've never seen that.
Oh goodness, it's so stinking funny. All right, Alden, you will definitely appreciate this one.
Leslie, I finished my project. The mouse, yeah. Do you want to see? I figured out how it's going to charge. No, not wireless. Look. So you take the mouse, you flip it over, you find its little mouse hole, and then
It's mouse hole.
No, you can't use it while it's charging because you have to just set it down upside down like this on its back, like it's roadkill. But then you just wait. I think it's practical because you can hold it, you can kind of swing it around, and well, the design team already approved it because the design team's off this week. Yeah, they're all off. They're just auto approving. They approved the MacBook with no ports too. It's crazy. So this is just how it's going to be. Brian wanted to call this the Mussy, but HR didn't like that, so we're gonna just call it the mouse hole. There it is.
I've had one of these in my
Do you want to go
life.
get a matcha and look through people's iCloud photos?
That's a dark, real tidbit there.
Right, that the little creepy one at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They named, in the spirit of the fucking whole Epstein bullshit now, they said that they were gonna be like, you know what, we're gonna look at everyone's photos now, but we're gonna look for pedo photos. And so according to them, they're looking for pedo photos, but they can look at everyone's photos.
Go far.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
And
Final
that
one
mouse-
of the evening. Very pertinent to that past week.
Arthur, get out of the tank. You're not my daddy. Get out of the fucking tank. I am your dad. You're not my dad. I am your dad. Get out of the fucking tank. I'm in a tank and you're not. I'm literally get out of the fucking tank. I'm literally in the tank. You're not. Out of the You're not my dad. Tell Major Middleton. I don't give a fuck. Get out of the fucking tank. No. Okay.
All right, y'all. This has been Liberty Libations number 165. You're going to get a Jesse Wells performance right before the credits tonight. So enjoy that. Dan, appreciate you coming on. Alden, Zane, Steven, love you guys. And we'll see you next week on more Liberty Libations. Peace.
Some days you get at your B2s and go bomb Iran. Some days you get at your B2s. It's all part of God's plan. Well, if you want that peace, you can't keep quiet when there's a picture of you hanging out on an island. Some days you get at your B2s and go bomb Iran. Politicians and preachers get hard as a bone when you're talking holy wars, two birds, one stone. Same playbook as 2003. Looks familiar to you, looks familiar to me. Some days you get at your B2s and go bomb Iran. Some days you get at your B2s. It's all part of God's plan. Well, bomb them all to hell, every boy and every girl. Be the change in the regime you want to see in the world. Some days you get out your B2s and go bomb Iran.